We are at CES 2026. Brian and I, Bromo, are here to welcome you to an amazing week of CES. We're kicking it off now. I know CES doesn't officially open until tomorrow morning, but we've gotten some sneak peeks. We've seen all the TVs we want to talk about, and I'm pretty excited, Brian. So without further ado, I'm going to throw it to Brian because he has a lot to say.
Well, guys,
way too much.
Well, guys, we haven't done live stream together in a while, but this has been a tradition for the last 4 years where FOMO and I will live stream. If you remember last year, I was sick as a dog. We were in a food court with freaking music playing in the background, and we were just hoping. So we're better this year. We've been here since Saturday morning, and we've seen just about everything. We have a lot more to go, but I mean, FOMO, it's already been a great show, and I think you guys are gonna love what we have to discuss.
And speaking of what we're going to have to discuss, I posted on our live stream the order in which we're going to talk about the TVs, so you guys can see what we're going to talk about. We'll start with TCL, move our way up to Samsung, LG, Hisense, Sony, and some of you already asked about Panasonic. And then as we go through these, we're going to talk about what we've seen from these brands, our expectations, and then at the very end, maybe wrap up our predictions, as we always do for the year. And maybe we should start off with last year's prediction. So to see how it ended up happening, just to give you guys a feel of what happens at CES. Does it carry through the rest of the year? Right?
Yeah, and I think FOMO too. One, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You guys may not think this, but our conversations together are the highlight of, hey Jen, what's up Bruce? Our conversations with you guys are the highlights of our CES because it's our live reactions. We're not walking around the show floor. We're able to really see everything. But you guys as a community, you guys being here with us is what we look forward to the most. And I promise in 2026, me and this guy will be doing a lot more tech therapy and live streams. We both got very busy, but we don't want to lose touch with you guys. And I want you to feel like you're here with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Hi, Lise.
And hey, Lisa.
Oh, Matt and Bev, the whole crew's in here. Darkio.
Kicking off the year with Lisa in our first
Lisa,
live
Lisa in the
stream.
house.
And so let's start really quick. I don't want to dive too much into last year. So at the end of CES, we were very disappointed with LG. They didn't show us much. They kept a lot of information to themselves. And we were, there was some confusion. Wait, is Samsung using the primary RGB OLED on their S95F, or aren't they? Is it,
Well, and FOMO, what was it? We actually, if you remember, LG was our first meeting, and loved them over there, but I remember they couldn't tell us what the panel was called. We really needed Panasonic to tell us what it was. So it left us with and it was very quick, very little for us to shoot. The QNEDs were kind of thrown in there.
And not even for sale, by the way. They threw it in there, and it ended up not leading.
It didn't really
to
show
the
it
retailers.
yet. Yeah, we saw it at a boot camp. But I mean, so this year we had basically TCL first, and we'll talk about each one separately. What's up, Matt and Bev and Ruby?
And we will address this question as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be the kind of the letdown of the show for me.
Last year.
A lot of last year I did a whole sad video and the music and everything because I thought one was there, but I mean it's going to be more about going into this show. OLED's kind of not being the main focal point, and RGB Mini LEDs and Mini LEDs in general being the focus. We knew that was going to happen a little bit. Last year we were hoping for QD OLED and OLEDs to really bump up to the next size, maybe even WOLED at 97, and it became Mini LEDs. Now it's a lot of Mini LEDs. So I was very happy to see LG and their OLEDs, but it's going to be very interesting, especially since Sony's not here. Again, Panasonic is not here either.
Actually, let's throw that out there. Both Sony and Panasonic, they will have their own TV event after CES. So they are not here. They're not presenting off-site. There is a Sony booth for other things like the $90,000
more Sony pictures,
and a Fila electric vehicle. All of our lanyards say a Fila by Sony. I'm like, not Trinitron, a Fila, right?
And a little bit about how FOMO and I really cover CES, and we're both TV reviewers. I have no interest in showing you and I hanging out at things that don't have TVs in them. So we're pretty focused on the TVs, which we'll talk about Samsung in a little bit. But I'm not really here to show you robots and him and I doing jumping jacks or anything. We're really, we're here to show you the TVs. So we're pretty focused on that, and obviously, we're not I'm not going to show you helicopter or whatever. You know what I mean? So see, we haven't even been in the CES yet. We go tomorrow for the first time.
And with that, we're going to kick off with what I think is the most impressive spec of all the TVs here, and that's TCL. So let's start with TCL, everyone. TCL, I know there were leaks out of China. They're releasing this amazing TV, a global TV called the X11L, right? X11L. And I thought, oh, this must be a China-only TV because it's 10,000 nits. So in China, everyone's making a big buzz. We did it, Dolby Vision, 10,000 nits, it's there. And I'm thinking, you know what, only China has the energy to allow people to buy this kind of TV that sucks up all the energy from your neighborhood. But apparently it's a global release. We got a sneak peek of the X11L at a TCL event a couple of weeks ago, and it was 10,000 nits. It's official. And now, obviously, will it do 10,000 nits real content? That remains to be seen. But regardless, it is the first TV publicly for sale ever to hit 10,000 nits. It only comes in 75, 85, and 98 inches. The 75 inches will come later in the year. The 85 and 98 will be at launch literally now. And it's so now that Brian and I, we may have ours on the way to
well, and I think they're also, I don't know, they may do a 115. What I love about what TCL does is if it's needed, they'll make it for you. They're kind of that way. But what I'll say about TCL last year, going back to last year, FOMO, was, you know, seeing Bruce, Rochelle, the whole team over there talk about, like, hey, we have the QM6K. That was their entry level, one of the most popular TVs last year. And they said, oh, by the way, when you get home, not only will this TV be prepared, ready for sale, you can pre-order it at the show.
Yep.
So that was really bold to go first. And then by the time Samsung and LG move, that's at our spring event in April. So think about that. Mid-January, the QM6K was there. So they were aggressive having a pre-CES show in California, which was also expensive for them. And they introduced this TV. So they really are now releasing the flagship first. Where it was QM6K last year, now it's the flagship. And the fact that those TVs are able to be pre-ordered right now, and they'll be for review for us at 85 inches.
And
it's pretty aggressive.
Now you mentioned bold, and this
What's up, Robert?
You mentioned bold, and this is the part that's kind of exciting for me. It goes into this narrative this year of the battle. How good is RGB Mini LED? And so what TCL, ironically, put down the gauntlet before LG did. So if you guys aren't familiar, LG recently put out a video, LG Display put out a video completely, I would say, attacking, trolling, whatever.
Well, actually, if we do it this way, when we had our presentation for the X11L, we had Scott at TCL. He was really going through some of the drawbacks of RGB Mini LED. Crosstalk, color.
Some of the drawbacks.
Some of the drawbacks.
All of the drawbacks.
That might be there. I was like, wow, that's so we really didn't even know that they were.
But he didn't want us to share anything until the embargo lifted.
Until the embargo lifted. So when they're talking about SQD, I was like, wait a second, this is not RGB. And then a few days later, LG Display, not LG. Now, for those of you who don't understand, LG Display and LG Electronics are sister company. They're not the same in that regard. So they put out a kind of a piece on RGB Mini LEDs, and that really worked out perfect for TCL and SQD with super quantum dots, because it takes away the concern for RGB Mini LED. So if you had told me TCL put out that video, I would have believed you. It was a good video though from LG. They did 3 of them. Well, and it was like Lord of the Rings.
So this is the irony. TCL is selling an RGB Mini LED.
Yeah.
At the same price as the X11L, but the entire presentation was how much better the X11L is in the RGB Mini LED. And this is why, right? We're talking about hardware and specs. Their explanation was both TVs cost $7,000. I'm just going to throw that out there. Except on the RGB Mini LED, most of that money went into the technology of RGB Mini LED.
It's expensive in general.
It is not cheap. Yeah. But to keep it at 7,000, they had to pull back dimming zones. They had to pull back some hardware stuff that is unique to the X11L. So the X11L does not have any RGB Mini LED, but then the money saved by not using it, they put into the dimming zones up to 5,000 dimming zones, which is a record for any TV.
Yeah.
And they're saying, guys, We did it. This is near OLED-like. And in my mind, I'm thinking, but can you beat the Bravia 9? Forget the Bravia 9 Mark II. So already in my head, I'm thinking, I got to put this X11L against the Bravia 9, which has way less dimming zones because, and well, they're saying with 5,000 nits, they finally got near black levels to be OLED-like. Black bars are fixed, all the things, all the promises, and then you got the 10,000 nits, but they are convinced. And so here's the best part. They had the RGB Mini LED, the one that they will be releasing next to the X11L, next to an OLED, so we can see how close they got.
Yeah.
And scene after scene, I'm like, wow, the RGB Mini LED does not look good. And this is their flagship RGB Mini LED.
Yeah.
And now it didn't look terrible. If it wasn't for the X11L, I'd say, wow, that's amazing. But with the X11L next to it, I'm like, dang, that black level is slightly deeper. The contrast is slightly better.
And I think I've already seen a couple comments about Sony, and I think what TCL is doing is they're taking a tried and true technology and going further with it. Because the way the space the RGB Mini LEDs need are more costly in terms of energy and controlling them. So they're saying, look, we have this here, and dude, it's gorgeous. I'll show you that in my video. It's on the other side. But the X11L, it just feels like you can trust where they're headed with the Halo control system. But they're going from 23 bits to 26. And for you guys, what's interesting about TCL is the silver bezel that so many of you don't like on LGs or the QM8K, QM9K, it's a black bezel. The sound they added. So they really do listen to what the fans want. But I was blown away by it. But the guts of saying, hey, we're going to do a... and here's the thing, guys. They don't even have to do a pre-CES show. They could have done that with a... All of them for us are meetings.
Right.
On camera, they sent us there to see it. Unbelievable.
Now you mentioned sound. So this, for me, was the highlight of the TCL TVs for 2026. So for the QM... or not QM, for the 7 series on up for 2026, they all have Dolby FlexConnect, and this is the best part. I think this is exciting for Americans mostly because we are bass heads. We love bass. You can independently add a wireless subwoofer from TCL. No HDMI ER nightmare. It will just connect.
No control.
No wires other than the power. No. You connect your subwoofer wirelessly, plug it in to the power, and boom, you've added bass to your TV without having to add a sound bar.
Yeah.
You know, you could. They have satellite speakers you could add, but ultimately, for many people, you're like, you know what, the sound is fine. I just need more bass. Yeah. Now you can do it. By adding this subwoofer wirelessly using Dolby FlexConnect, your X11L, your I forget what the model numbers are, RGB Mini LED, the next generation 8 series, 9 series, 7 series, they can all have wireless connected sub, and then as money permits, you can add more satellites and give you surround.
So if you look at, when we first saw the design of the X11L, there's a small bezel at the bottom that's a speaker. And at first, all I thought about was, Panasonic went that route, and a lot of you guys didn't like that. But the problem with the Panasonic design is the speakers were so prominent that you guys also said, well, look, if I add any kind of soundbar FOMO, I lose the sound. Then you'll have these speakers, but you're not really utilizing them. So Bruce of TCL did a pretty cool demo where he had, the X11L playing. It was just for the two of us, and he had a small soundbar in front of it. He's like, what do you guys think? I'm like, that thing sounds good, had bass. He takes a soundbar, it's not even plugged in. It was using the existing speakers of the TV, but being able to add a sub. And what I love for you guys, modular-wise, if you can afford to get one speaker, two, you can do up to 4. You don't have to get a whole system. Now it includes a soundbar. That's where things got to be very expensive for other manufacturers. Now it's $2,000 because you have the soundbar.
Well, you mentioned price. So Jennifer had the question, is it true it's $8,000? So let me go over the pricing real quick. The 98-inch, and this is MSRP. So we'll talk about street pricing right after. MSRP, $10,000 for the 98-inch. $8,000 for the 85, $7,000 for the 75-inch.
Okay, we're talking smack.
This is MSRP. Realistically, in talking to people whose names will be protected for their own employment future at TCL, we know that the street pricing will be close to the LG G6 or actually around the LG G6.
Yeah,
so
which was
expect
what, six?
pricing around
Yeah,
5,000 to 6,000.
$6,000.
Now the 98-inch will still be expensive, but size to size, 75 versus 77-inch, 85 versus 83, it will be approximately around the G6 pricing, just to give you guys a heads up. And then the 98-inch will probably, I don't know, I'm going to guess $8,000 by the time all is said and done. And by Black Friday, maybe $7,000.
Yeah, I mean, but I also like, guys, that where if you have what we see with, say, Hisense going, the whole lineup's going to be RGB Mini LED. If there are issues with that, then the whole lineup is going to be plagued with that. Right, so TCL's approach is we do have the RGB for those that you want it. If you love that, we'll rock a bunch of them.
Yep.
They can that vertical integration story is actually legit. They can on the fly make a black bezel. I'll do it tomorrow. You know, so I mean, I'm excited. Now, you have 4 HDMI 2.1 finally for for all you guys. 4K 144 hertz, 1080p 288 hertz. But I love the TV. It's the TV that I mean. Yeah. It's beautiful.
And now to that point for gaming, right? I'm very curious to see how RGB Mini LED holds up to gaming because there is that
we weren't able to test that. Yeah,
the fear of the color smearing because of the fast motion. Now for movies, I don't think this will be an issue, but for 144 hertz gaming or even 120 hertz gaming on an Xbox or PS5, that motion across the screen, TCL is known for controlling that near perfectly for an LCD. I think that's why they went with the X11L. They're like, wait, this motion is great. So for gaming,
why start over?
For gaming, I can already see the X11L being a great gaming TV among LCD TVs. I would love to compare that to Samsung's Micro RGB, which Samsung is known for their gaming algorithm as well, for their motion, all that stuff. So we'll be talking about Samsung next. But before we move any further, Robert Conrad has given us a super chat.
What's up, Robert?
Thanks for taking the time with us, guys. You know we love to. Can't wait for the G6.
Robert wants to own them all.
We're going to talk about the G6, and quite possibly, Robert, you may get a G6, but we'll talk about why you might want it and why you might not.
No, and look, we appreciate you guys, but I got to say this too, though. The fact that we're starting this CES talking about TCL is pretty ridiculous.
And normally they're dead last.
Well, I mean, normally we always say last year we were pretty surprised how aggressive and confident they were. But I mean, for this year to them to go first, if you look at the way we have we went by what we saw, but I mean, and also their design now, out designing Samsung in some ways. Listening to you guys, you want more of this? Not telling you what you want, hearing what you want. That's pretty incredible.
For me, the biggest leap in listening, and I've been on this for all the TV makers. You guys know this, right? Can I just add a subwoofer? I don't want to add a soundbar. The actual dialogue is fine. I just need more of that oomph.
You need some pop.
And so when he showed me, yes, we listened. One subwoofer is possible. And I said, now can I stack them? He's like, what? Well, you know Americans. I want 4 of these things
this
stacked to the ceiling, and the guy says jaws just dropped.
So when you're meeting with this guy, he always takes what they say and he goes, "That's great. Can I do 2?" You see somebody in the back is like, so you know full well it'll be 2 at some point.
And he's actually like, we didn't know that's a thing. I go, trust me, that's a thing.
Yeah,
give me, and I told him, give me 4 stacked up so I can max the output. I don't want 4 around the room, right? That just gives me even bass but low bass. 4 stacked gives me full power, and I'm gonna put it near field right behind me, and I will feel the shaking in my body. He's all excited. Like, so maybe TCL will be the first to give you 4 subwoofers connected, and they can, based on that FlexConnect technology.
Yeah, but I mean, I think again, the silver bezel is not a big deal until it's a big deal. For you guys, since the G series first launched, Samsung's TVs, it's always been like, the companies think it's a high-end look. You guys don't like it. And then when I saw TCL have the black bezel, and then they still have the borderless, which is the matrix border, it just shows you they listen. But the thing is, they don't listen to just us. They are in these comments. All the manufacturers are, by the way, just so you know. They do read what you guys say and want.
Well, yeah, we read what they say, and then we make an emphasis on that.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
oftentimes your comments, enough of them come to us, and you know what? There's some interest here.
Well, the black bezel, though, just goes to show they're not telling you what they think you want. They're saying, well, this is what they want. And that's pretty amazing. And I mean, I think, especially since I think you guys are going to see a trend where TVs are going to be less of the focus. We'll talk about Samsung in a moment. To be somewhere where TVs are the focus, that's what you have my attention, and that's where, like I said, having this event before to show the X11L, especially with RGB Mini LEDs, they don't have to do that before CES. We saw the TVs as soon as we got here.
Yep.
So I mean, that just shows confidence. That just says, hey, look, you know what? We're going to show it to you and put it up. Let us know what you think. And it's all TVs. Now, I'm sure their booth, because we'll show the booth when I go there, they're going to have all the Gemini stuff and all the lifestyle stuff. But for them, TVs are still the focus. And that's all. I'm a TV reviewer. Kind of important. Kind of important.
Before we leave Robert Conrad's comment, I have to say, Robert, thank you for your super chat. Very generous. $10.
You can buy half that water.
This literally cost me $10. And so it's like...
Actually, no, that's not accurate. So we stole that from LG.
Oh, that's true.
This was $14.
That was $14.
But dude,
No.
My backpack was so heavy. He's like, put that in your bag.
I don't want to say we stole this from LG, but LG had a bunch of these lined up. And I looked at Brian and said...
He's throwing them on my bag.
I'm like, we should have brought an empty backpack and then just took it all and went outside and flipped it for $5 each.
So next year when you see this guy on the sidewalk selling them, that's what we're going to make them worth.
That's what happened. Next super chat up. And if I missed your questions, guys, just keep on asking.
Hi, Tater Tots.
Tater Tots, I love that name. I saw the LG RGB Evo. It said 165 hertz with 330 hertz boost. Is that 4K? Okay, you know what? We're going to save that. We're going to save that for the LG discussion, so we will address it.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
That way we don't skip over Samsung. So I'm going to look for the super chats for Samsung.
And Tater Tots, just to touch on that quickly, we'll come back. Thank you for your super chat. I do love that they're going somewhere else. That's going to be downsampling and upscaling, and
we don't want to spoil anything for LG, but when we get there, we're going to talk
about
things like
with things like DLSS, I mean, that's pretty commonplace. So that's pretty cool that they're doing that.
And we can jump to the Sony Bravia Theater Quad because they didn't do anything here. I haven't heard any word how they're upgrading the Theater Quad, but we will find out in probably 2 to 3 months. Sony always has their own event, probably March or April. So at that point, we'll ask, are they upgrading the Theater Quad? But I'll tell you right now, I do love the Theater Quad.
Yeah, and it's as good as it is, though, they better. Because at their pace,
everyone's up.
We're going to get into Sony's, but at their pace, they're going to get lapped. Just in innovation.
And we're just talking audio. TV is one thing, but the audio, what we saw in terms of wireless, FlexConnect, I was very impressed. Oh, and buddy, thank you for this generosity. Now we can buy coffee with our water. Hey, thanks, buddy.
We appreciate it, buddy.
We do appreciate it. Actually, we're going to use this and go to eat some steak tonight.
We're doing Peter Luger's tonight.
Yes, so we're celebrating our community.
So I'll tell you what's so funny, you guys, just price-wise, depending on where you are in the country, Vegas, as far as the food, I'm from Connecticut and New York. He's from LA, obviously. The restaurants and stuff are expensive, but if you need NyQuil like I did last year, that was the most expensive drink I bought.
$80 for
a
shot.
Because I did the DayQuil and the NyQuil. So, I mean, it's actually not as, the room and the flight are expensive, but
and Robert will answer this when we get to LG. So that way, we're going to have you wait so that we can talk LG all day long. Now, we're going to move to Samsung right now. And let me just type in this so I have a way to track it. 2026.
Guys, thank you for being here. Please like the live stream. I mean, this again is a tradition for us. We will definitely, we do look forward to, this is really the highlight of our live streams, to be side by side. We do our spring event at Value Electronics, then we're side by side again. But for FOMO and I, our first time really kind of hanging out after the shootout was at CES. And we did a breakfast one time at the Hard Rock Cafe. We had like 1,000 people watching that.
Yep.
So we appreciate you being here. Please hit like, and we appreciate support for both channels.
So now we're going to talk about the Samsung TVs, and we got some questions already. So I'm going to take this one out of the way real quick because this is a popular question.
What is that?
What about the S99H? So this is very interesting. This is a unique model number to Europe. It's essentially the USA version of the S95H, identical. But in Europe, they're calling it the S99. So when I talk S95H, it applies to the S99H in Europe. Now, how that differs from S95H in Europe, I really don't know.
Where'd you get that part number from? It wasn't at the showcase.
No, it was at the, yeah. Wait.
OLED.
Wait. Before I tell you Brian's impression of Samsung. Let me get my excitement out of the way first so we can play good cop, sad cop.
I'm going to jump right out this window.
So if you guys joined us, you heard all about the S95H. It's essentially the European nomenclature for the American S95H. Both represent, I would say, the flagship technology of Samsung. Micro RGB aside, I'll kick that off. I believe that the S95H/S99H in Europe is probably Samsung's best TV to date. As good as Micro RGB is, and I'll share some of some of my limitations that I saw, but it doesn't mean it's a bad TV. It's shared among all LCD TVs, to be fair. So let's start off with the S95H/S99H, my impressions, whatever. So first, it comes with this metal bezel. And the first thing everyone asks is, wait, what if I have a mounted stand? Yeah, it's still there. So they put it on a wall, and it looks beautiful on the wall with the metal. And he goes, but what if I have a mount? You can attach the mount to the metal bezel. Yeah, basically, you can't remove it, is my understanding.
Well, it looks like it looks nice, but for those of you that don't like metal bezels, this bezel is about 2 inches wide.
Yes.
It looks like the whole thing is, it looks like a picture.
So essentially what they're telling you is, if you don't like the bezel, you might have to get last year's S95H or S95F one, or this year's S90H, which leads us to the second bit of bad news for those of you who care.
I thought you were doing good news. Oh, you do bad content.
Okay, wait.
Nick is watching too. Got the curls watching. He'd be pissed. His hair's gonna be straight when you're done with this.
Let's start with the good news.
What's up, Nick?
Peak brightness in D65 Filmmaker is 2700 nits. So that's about 700 nits more. It's than 2000 nits. Yeah. So forget the numbers you're hearing around, right? That's in whatever weird modes.
Let's pause, because last year, not just last year, every year, it's 3,000 nits, 4,000 nits. Right. Now, what we understand, the raw panel from Samsung Display is capable of that. Same with the tandem OLEDs; they're capable of 3,000 nits. But yeah, when they get into the TV, it's just not practical. So we're really going to stop with now. The TCL TV can do 10,000 nits.
Well, no,
you actually need that.
Wait, we're going to talk about how that came about.
But the point is, 2,700 nits on a QD OLED is gorgeous. I mean, those TVs are still my favorite technology out there, period. QD OLED is still my favorite. I don't care what we see. QD OLEDs are incredible. To be 2,700 nits is incredible.
They did two things with the 2,700 nits, by the way. So, you know how we complain about specular clarity? So when you have that bright sun, and all you see is this brightness, but you don't see the haze of the clouds, right? Sony does that really well. And the S95F apparently gave you that brightness that was brighter than the Bravia 8 Mark II, but then you lost some of that gradient clarity, the specular clarity. So this year, they went brighter to 2700, but preserving that clarity. So they're going straight after the strength of the Sony Bravia 8 Mark II, which is that gradient detail, but bumping that brightness up to a peak of 2700 nits in filmmaker mode. So I have to emphasize that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When you measure it on a pattern, you're probably gonna get more, right? But it's very interesting. The TV product head from Samsung headquarters was there, and he was very honest. I think this is why they don't ask engineers to do their presentation. He's like, yes, 2,700 nits. I'm like, what happened to 3,000 or 4,000, right? He goes, so he's like, yeah, last year was 2,000. 2,000, that was it.
that was 5 years ago.
So, but it did, he had it side by side with the S95F next to the S95H or 99H in Europe, and you saw the jump in both. Slight jump in, and it is not night or day, but he put in 4,000 nit content, right? So it was 4,000 nit content. How close can it get? It hit the 2,700 nit peak brightness in that small area of the sunrise, sunset, while the S95F was both clipping and less bright. So you lost some of that detail. So I thought for people like me who are very HDR sensitive, right? This is what we test. Yeah. I cannot wait to put that up against the G6, which we'll talk about next, because it looks like they're finally focusing on what we talk is the hardest thing, is get me brightness, but preserve some of that gradient detail so that gamers, you guys, this affects you guys, right? You're looking for the detail. You're sitting there, you're admiring the sky and stuff.
It's white.
So now you have to make a decision. The image quality of the 99 and the 95H is there. The question is, how much better is it than the S95F? I'll tell you that they didn't mention anything about the matte coating being better or worse, so it's probably the same, similar matte coating as last year. So it's going to be matte, except you have to ask yourself, in exchange for that extra bit of performance, what about the bezel? And number two, I think this is the second bonus that they're making a big deal out of this. You're getting 4 HDMI 2.1 ports like you normally do, except it's on the TV. It's built into the TV, not a one connect box. However, if you want a one connect box, it becomes a wireless zero connect box that you can add on afterwards so that you can connect everything to that box and it's wirelessly connected to the TV, right? None of that cable, it's just a power cable. And it increases your total HDMI inputs to 8. So it would literally
which has never
been done before. So if you need gamers out there with 8 different sources,
or for gamers, you know, the key with I think the 8K QN990F last year, once you guys saw the Zero Connect, the first thing you were like, well, I can't plug and you can plug the PC with a mini. These are full size, I believe.
Yes.
But the ability to take your PC or console, plug it directly in, hide it, and then do the Zero Connect is awesome. Then the Zero Connect makes sense. But then even your streaming device, if you don't want any lag, it's definitely cool. That's very innovative.
And I'm trying to think. Well, you tell me what is your impression of the S95H? Because for me,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what I think about it because I didn't see it. Nick, where you at, baby?
Nick is hiding. So let me set the stage, and then Brian will take it from there. When we walked into the first look preview at Samsung, we were so excited because you walk into this beautiful corridor.
We had headphones on.
Oh yeah, so you had a tour guide.
It was like Jurassic Park. It was like da na 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 na. I'm like, oh my god! So there's a whole tunnel of RGB micro LEDs. There's about 6 of them. There's waves and projectors. You're like, oh, you come right out and it says, I think 25 years or 20
years?
20 years of the #1 TV brand in the industry, which is incredible. And then you continue.
Okay, so Brian doesn't have the heart to continue. So we're in these headsets. This is like they're raising their game.
Hell yeah.
We walk through and
with the first show, by the way.
The tour guide is like spot on. She's amazing. She's professional. And so we start going, we're building up, right? So it's like, all right, guys, this is the future. So we start looking at things like AI-driven washing machines, dryers, right? They sense your dryer. They're able to separate dirty clothing. You don't have to mix and match stuff, right? Like, oh, AI can tell all this. All right, cool. And then we get to the refrigerator, which kind of excited me, right? You got the camera, you got Gemini. They recognize all the food. They tell you when things are going to expire. They're helping you with your food selection.
I'm already bored.
I know, right? and then we get to the senior care, where if you connect all of your Samsung devices, for example, you're tapping on YouTube, it will say, wait, you're taking too long to tap on YouTube. Your cognitive decline has begun. Call your doctor, stuff like that, right?
Well,
and then you go to pet oversight, right? You have pet supervision.
Scan your dog, and if your dog is out like a lazy eye.
And then you have security, security cameras, third-party integration, so it's not just Samsung products. So it's a platform they've created. So far I'm waiting, all right. And then you see the TV. We're walking to the TV, and then whoop, you have this detour. I'm sorry, K-pop idols.
Yeah, there was like the Backstreet Boys were there, but it was a K-pop version.
So we were blocked from getting to the TV, and they redirected us to a more AI stuff.
And you hear what he said? He said TV, not TVs.
Well, we don't know that yet. So we got redirected through
the refrigerator section.
We got to see the refrigerator section again, a close-up. And then finally we got, all right, the TVs. And then we get there, and so you have the primary RGB, the RGB, the micro RGB.
Yeah, 135.
And then you have this art display, and it says S95H, but it's all art. I'm like, oh, that's great.
Oh, you mean the tunnel, the circular room. Yeah, okay.
So you have
83-inch.
The 83-inch S95H displaying art, and they're like, yes, we figured out a way
to... frame. Yeah.
And the frame, and you have the frame. And it's all about art on your so for the first time, you get flagship art display on an OLED TV without the risk of burning, because they found a way to do it at a certain brightness. Okay, whatever. But then I'm looking around, no specs, nothing, right? There's no, basically it's very lifestyle, and the focus is on.
That is the life, that is the whole.
It is very much lifestyle.
Yep.
And then you get to the Micro RGB, and it shows great sizes, right? It looks amazing, but no mention of how it's better than the competition. It's like, there is no more competition between TVs in terms of image quality. Immediately we felt like, okay, all the TVs look the same. Now it's all about quality of life, features you want, and that's it. There wasn't any battle of the technology. Now in the innovation room, which I'll get into, they were still battling it out, But in the actual display, which is where Brian was, which is the actual first look, the focus was very much on quality of life features that separates the ownership of a Samsung TV more than any other TV. Not so much that Samsung TVs look better, because I think the belief is right now all the TVs look great. You can't win on that anymore. The minute you get into the spec war, suddenly you got TCL with 10,000 nits. And your primary your RGB Micro RGB is 4,000 nits. That's its peak brightness. You can't win the spec war. They both have 100% BT 2020. I mean, if you look at the specs, they look identical, even though one is Micro RGB and the other one's just a SQD Mini LED. But Brian?
So, I mean, what I want to share is 2 years ago, we went into Samsung's first look. First of all, they do share no expense copying the Jurassic Park. I mean, their showcase is gorgeous. They steal a show every year with how they spend the money and how they highlight products. But my second year, we walked in and there was micro LEDs from 55 inches to 135. Then there was the QD OLEDs. Then there was 2 8K TVs. There was about 15 TVs that were the showcase of the entire Samsung booth at that first look. That was a couple years ago. Then last year, it was a little bit less. There was less information, but you knew there was 2 8K TVs there. There was a 115-inch. There was a bunch of OLEDs, QD OLEDs. The specs weren't there, but at least the TVs were there. This year, the disappointment is not in what their lineup is going to be. It's everything's going to kind of be held back. So my disappointment isn't in Samsung and what they're offering. It's just for us to be able to say to you, this is what I want you to look at. There was really nothing for me to do. So my footage of it, I captured every TV you could see there in my video. The S95H is a good example. Last year we saw demo material with it. This year it was just the painting that didn't move. It was in the corner and it just said S95H. And there was no Neo QLED mini LEDs of any kind, which is the very popular QN90 series. So there wasn't that at all. There was no 8K lineup.
No, it doesn't mean that they won't launch it. It's just not there for you to see.
Yeah, but I mean, so for you guys and for myself, and nothing against Samsung, but this is where their money is for them. The AI, all that sets them apart. TCL's doing it, Gemini. They're all going that way. But as a TV reviewer, why you see me on your screen, I was very disappointed because I can't deliver. And this is the part that it bothers me. We come here. No one's flying me here. No one's paying for this room. We come here. The leaks you're getting at home are from random places. I would love to be able to confirm to you yes or no, and I can't. All I can say to you is, I think I'll see you in a month. I don't know what to tell you.
I think Brian is underselling how this deeply affected him. So this morning, I woke up all excited to go to the innovation, because normally at the Samsung Innovation event, they really take the gloves off and they start showing you how their TV is better than the competition. And Brian was so sad, so disappointed. He didn't even have the energy to get out of bed. I mean, I thought maybe it was food sick. It
wasn't like last year.
he ate something last night.
I mean,
what was it? Food poisoning? And it turns out it was just sick from sadness, right?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll say to you honestly, what happened last year with LG. LG took my breath away in the wrong way.
And then you got the flu?
And then I was sick. But it started that way with no information. I'd love to be able to just... I mean, guys, when I do my videos, I have to cut them down. I have so much good stuff to show you. Here, I have no interest in refrigerators. I have no interest in AI, no interest in any of that at all. I want to go picture quality, design, sound, gaming. That's all I want to show you.
Now, to be fair, so this is what you missed at the Innovation Center. So I want to show you this. This is very funny.
Well, real quick though.
Go ahead.
Now, I didn't feel well. I went to the gym this morning. I stayed back and I edited. But if I can't capture anything at the Innovation for you guys, it doesn't really help me. I have to be able to capture for you. I can hear, because here's why. I love Samsung's innovation, but I want to be able to say I've seen it, not I heard it. If I can't show you, it doesn't benefit you guys at all. Because then it's just specs. And that's something that him and I don't really enjoy. Even our videos, that's why we do these. I can read the specs like anybody else. Oh yeah, it's got brrr, that stuff. The AI can do that. I want to be able to show you with all the cameras we have in the room. That's why we're here. I can just sit home like everybody else. And they really, and I think a lot of manufacturers are going to do this, they're not doing it because TVs are a back seat. They will simply have a separate event for that.
Yes.
Which we'll be at. But for me, as the excitement of I can't wait to show you, just it was a kick in the stomach.
Now, now here is the uplifting part for Samsung fans. At the Innovation Center, so you guys knew how TCL went after RGB Mini LED with their superior SQD Mini LED, right? The X11L.
Can you share this or no? Did you ask?
I can.
Okay.
I'm sure I can sell it. right, Nick? I can share this. So I just couldn't take pictures.
He's texting right now.
So he's like, stop.
He's like, yo,
stop, don't say anything. But I'm going to share with you anyway. So Samsung Korea bought the X11L from China. Now, I don't think they knew that TCL was doing similarly.
How much do you think that TV would cost?
Oh, they shipped it from China with the whole power conversion, everything. Yeah. So TCL was using their X11L versus RGB Mini LED, while Samsung was preparing the same thing, except against their Micro RGB. So when I got there, like, wait, SQD Mini LED? This couldn't be the X90L. So they cannot name names. They did not say it's TCL. They did not say it's the X11L. But what they did say, they did say three things that you guys will love. They go, well, we got this from China, number one.
LCT, by the way.
And they covered all of the branding, right?
Yeah.
Number two.
Until the menu goes up, you're like, wait a second.
Number two, it's this new technology called SQD Mini LED. I go, oh, okay, that sounds familiar. And here's the best part. And they said, can you believe they claimed 10,000 nits? I'm like, I wonder what TV that is. And they looked at us, it's all, I measured it.
They hit it.
And they hit 10,000 nits. And I was like, oh, I guess it's legit. But then, so he goes, but it's not all about brightness. It's about color and this and that. And so he started doing demos side by side. So you had the Micro RGB, their flagship 85-inch, against the 85-inch. And again, they did not say it was the TCL X95 X11L.
And all the manufacturers do this, by the way.
Yeah, they block
at all our meetings. They all have a competitor.
But I am going to conclude, is to not get Samsung in trouble, because they were very good at not telling us what it is. They didn't say it was TCL. They didn't say it was the X11L. But I will tell you, I believe it is the TCL X11L, 10,000 nits. And so to
Sherlock over here.
I
deduced. There's some research.
Where's my pipe?
Watson, I think we have a TV from China.
They had it in standard mode, which I think is great, because TCL did the same thing. They wanted to show off the X11L, and they said, you know what, the best way to show it off is standard mode, so that we can really max it out. So both TVs are in standard mode, and what I noticed is very interesting is, so they put bright content on. The X11L, despite 10,000 nits, was not as vibrant or bright. Now again, this is a Samsung show. So whether or not they did anything with the settings that I keep calling it TCL, on this mystery SQD Mini LED, who knows? But let's say for the benefit of the doubt, out of the box, standard mode, whatever, it felt like the Micro RGB was more vibrant. The color luminance was a little bit higher, right? It's all there. But what I did notice though is in some of the scenes where it was very vibrant, and it was that vibrant color against a black background, I can tell that the black background was a bit lifted. You lost a bit of the contrast. Everything was a bit brighter. On the TCL, the background was darker, there was, it felt to me, more contrast and gradient. So the question is, which is accurate?
Yeah,
so at the end of the day,
what's the tone mapping doing?
Like, who's tone mapping right? Now I'm thinking, where's your reference monitor? Because at the end of the day, if you guys have to go and say which is accurate, that's a different discussion.
Of course.
What they're going for is, look, I'm paying $10,000 for a TV. When I walk in the room, does it dazzle me? The Micro RGB is dazzling. And I'll say that if you want something that goes beyond their reference capability, because I believe the X95, the X11L is going the Sony route, right? Tone mapping it down to keep and preserve as much of the creator's intent as possible, and that's my speculation. I still need to get both TVs
but you have the
to
headroom.
compare.
If you're going 10,000 inches,
But the other one is hitting that headroom over and over because, oh, look, you're in standard mode. Like, you want filmmaker, we can do that, which I wish they did, by the way.
Yeah.
But in standard, they blasted it like it was dynamic, where you got the contrast and everything, but the cost is you can erase some of that floor. Now, what they did do, so let's, on a related note, HDR10 Plus Advanced. So you have this bright TV, but your content is too dim, AKA Superman 2026, 100 nits only, right?
Terrible movie, by the way.
So what they did was actually create real demo scenes where you had real content, and we're talking from Prime Video, not manufactured artificial content. So they were able to get videos, I think this is the spin-off from Lord of the Rings or something like that, right? And you had scenes from real movies, and I think they worked their magic with these scenes, giving it the metadata, real scenes, not artificial scenes, not CGI scenes, right? So you have the before and after, HDR10 with regular on the Micro RGB, and then Micro RGB with HDR10 Plus Advanced. And then, and this is the key, they preserved shadow detail, black levels and everything. But where the specular highlights were a bit muted, oh, they blasted it, right? Boom! And I'm like, yes! So we know streaming platforms, whether it's Prime Video or Netflix, they want to keep your HDR, your dynamic range limited because they assume your TVs suck, which makes sense. But then what if you go out and buy this $10,000 TCL, Samsung, whatever, even a OLED, the S95H, 2700 nits, right? It is graded to like 200 nits at best. What they did, and I didn't measure anything, so I have to see what they did. They pushed it to the limits of the TV, and the Micro RGB limit is 4,000 nits from Samsung. And I don't know if it hit 4,000, but it was definitely more spectacular in terms of vibrancy, but it preserved color. So it wasn't like, oh, now the color is oversaturated. Color was preserved, shadow detail was preserved, the specular highlights went through the roof. And that's when I said, okay, this is the concept Dolby Vision 2 sold me on. Samsung is doing it here. So that's thumbs up for Samsung. And HDR10 Plus Advanced is being released on all 2026 TVs. No mention whether it will be backwards added in a firmware to 2025. And I don't think so, right? So unless I'm told otherwise, assume that you'll need a 2026 Samsung moving forward if you want access. And number two, they cannot announce when the streaming providers like Netflix and Prime Video will be remastering
and
it.
Will it be remastered?
How long will it take to remaster? Is it 2029?
And I'll say to you guys, my disappointment for Samsung is not because they don't have the TVs. They have some of the best in the world. It's that they're holding them back. And I understand where the money is, but their TVs are top-notch. Their lineups, we saw the QN90F at 100 inches. Even you saw the matte screen, why it worked, and the QN80. These TVs, they would have done, the next version of those would have looked beautiful here. Instead, the TVs were really thrown about as menus for the like I saw the S90H, because it was an Xbox menu. That should have its own spot. One of the most popular TVs they have. So my disappointment is that TVs took a back seat when they have some of the best on the planet.
Yep.
And to your point, FOMO, well, that's great for the innovation room. You could easily have done, maybe not a competitor, but make those TVs prominent. Nobody, if you don't know TVs, if I couldn't find them, most people weren't looking for them. And this is what I'll say to you about the CES crowd. It's chaos. And the fact that when you want to
wait, chaos. Let me pause the chaos. So Samsung threw a after party happy hour, and they were giving out free fried chicken. And for me to get my one little fried chicken, I had to fight through 30 very hungry young Korean ladies that took no prisoners. I felt bruised and abused.
The Korean barbecue was legit. They wanted that Korean barbecue. It was legit.
And I was like, give me my barbecue, right? And you know, people were like cheering when they got the chicken. You could hear the people in the back yelling, one per person only, one per person. It was quite a victory for some of these ladies to get two and then just scream. And I'm like, this is
But I mean,
chaos.
and look, everybody you see there, all the other technology people, when you really look at how they responded to the Samsung booth, people were taking videos of everything. The transparent micro LEDs, they were laughing, they were like, woo! They were enjoying themselves. I'm hyper focused on TVs.
Yes, you are.
So I think as a whole, they had a beautiful presentation. The TVs are never going to be the star that those days are past. They were the star 2 years ago. It wasn't like 10 years ago. 2 years ago, I have a video of FOMO walking by all the micro LEDs. The micro LED was still there. They have some concepts.
Well, the 8K is gone.
8K wasn't there anymore. I mean, they may still have it.
Wait, they will still sell 8K TVs, but it's not present at CES.
Not present at CES.
That tells you
so
something.
that's my disappointment. It's not. It's not.
I get
in,
it.
it's not in them. Love Samsung. Love you guys, especially the marketing team. You guys are amazing. But I am a TV reviewer, and I'm trying to share my excitement with you. And I didn't have anything to share. And I'll tell you this, being somebody who is so passionate and I love TVs, I hate seeing them sidelined. Just not Samsung sidelining them, but these beautiful TVs, like the QD OLEDs especially, to have it be a painting.
Let's talk about QD OLED. Okay, and before I jump into QD OLED from Samsung, Robert Conrad shares, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I'm in San Diego. I'm in a San Diego hotel.
Yeah, LG TV.
I think I'm going to withdrawals from the hotel TV.
Ours hasn't even been on yet.
Ours is an LG TV. Can't wait to get home. So we'll hit some of these super chats, all the LG super chats I'm holding, because we're going to talk about LG next.
Yep.
And we'll hit those, but I'm going to hit the ones that are not LG related. And just to thank you guys. Thank you for the super chat. Takemura76. Will international memory shortages currently impact consumer goods like PCs, eventually impact TV market? How will the future lineup look? So good news and bad news. If the TV is using any kind of silicon, doesn't matter if it's memory or not, if it's required by the AI industry, prices will go up, even if it's just copper, right? So if AI needs more copper, silicon, memory, it's going to drive anything that you have in common that overlaps with AI chip and hardware requirements. It's just going to drive prices up across the board. So the answer is yes. Now the good news is Samsung does have its own, it's vertically integrated. So it has its own memory team, all that. Now whether they'll give a good deal to its TV section, probably, but Samsungs have always been expensive, so I don't think that changes.
Yeah, well,
and
the manufacturers we talked to that were impacted somewhat by the tariffs last year, they ate those.
Yeah.
They didn't raise the prices. TVs, I don't think anyone really has the patience to want to do that anymore. So TVs people aren't going to buy hyper expensive TVs. If they were, but they're not going to. Most people won't.
And Taz's question is a great segue. We want 2 eARC ports. Well, what if I told you they got rid of eARC ports altogether? So this is what I'm seeing as the future. If you guys have eARC and you're using it, I'm sure most of you have problems with connecting it, compatibility with the right devices, right? Even an LG OLED and an LG soundbar, anything.
Compatible soundbar.
The compatibility, one firmware update breaks it. Like Classy told me, he's got the LG B series, firmware update, and now his LG soundbar doesn't work anymore. Hey, that's eARC. And so having 2 of these, can you imagine how bad that would be? The crosstalk and then having to flip between the 2? No, Taz, I will tell you right now. Why do I think it's on its way out? This whole Dolby FlexConnect thing, that's why. People are like, look, is there a way around these eARC if it's just audio we need? So I understand eARC, the ARC port to control your devices, maybe via the ARC port or whatever, if it needs the eARC or ARC, but audio specifically, more and more TV companies are going to go through the wireless route. TV direct to your device. You don't need a hub or any dongle. Direct, and that's what FlexConnect did for LG and TCL. Samsung has its own proprietary Q Symphony that's wireless as well. But ultimately, I believe the TV makers want to get out of eARC. It's not been good. We've had over 10 years of ARC that has not worked. So yes.
And I think they want to be able to say, look, I don't want you using a Samsung TV with an LG soundbar.
Yeah.
They want you to be able to keep, which, you know, but the problem is you get into receivers and things like that. It's going to be an issue.
And Sean, it's been a while, my friend.
Sean, what's up, bro?
Hey, hopefully we're early enough. I know he's probably like 2 in the morning right now. FOMO Brian, hope you're fine.
What's up, Sean?
Joining after a year as my brother was not well. I'm so sorry. Our prayers are with you.
Man.
Well, but she will be fine now. Oh, mother, brother.
Oh, yeah.
All the best to your mother. I always have believed TVs are a boon, and while taking care of my mom, it's stronger. Had it not been for TV's existence, her healing would have taken more time. So I agree. Like, as we get older, really your only companion is the TV. Even if it's soap opera or watching the news, it keeps them engaged with life. Yeah. I completely agree, Sean. And I'm wondering, is she watching 8K? Because Sean is the 8K. But then he moved to the Bravia 9. He goes, I'm done with 8K.
Well, you know what it is, Sean, too, is I think when you're having health issues and you're looking at a device, it creates eye strain. If you're if you're somebody who's not feeling well and you have a tablet, it's better to have a TV. They can just relax and fall asleep. And I hope she feels better, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you again for your generosity, Sean. Okay, now before we move to LG, I want those that have just joined us, a quick reminder. First of all, and I want to wrap up Samsung this way. There are definitely, I would say there are 3 notable improvements if they are relevant to you. Now, this is what's relevant to me, and then I'll try to filter it whether it's relevant to the 95% who are just consumers. I'm really excited about the future of HDR10 Plus Advanced, but I do recognize that the content isn't there, so I don't think 2026 I'll be able to test it even because I need the content. So that looks more like a 2027 at earliest content. So if you're buying a TV from Samsung hoping that HDR10 Plus is a thing next year, it won't be. So more importantly, at best, you're future-proofing for a future content release in 2027 or thereafter, maybe even 2028. But that working technology excites me. Number 2, the S95H flagship, given the bezel, but I'll put that aside because it's very subjective, the performance improvement to me is so incremental, I would recommend getting the S95F. I saw them side by side at the Innovation Center, and you do see it's slightly brighter, and they gave me the best scenes. Remember, this is curated by Samsung to demonstrate the superiority, the extra 700 nits, what it brings to the table. But what I have to remind you is 700 nits sounds like a lot, but it's logarithmic. That means to go from 2,000 nits to 2,700 nits, it's barely a 10% increase in brightness. Yeah. And that 10% is not visible, really. I mean, it's visible, but you have to look for it, right? So at the end of the day, if you're watching in filmmaker mode, there is 0 change. You have to be in dynamic mode, vivid, standard, and push it beyond whatever you're normally watching. So sports, okay, you might benefit a little bit, but really, if you're watching Columbo, in filmmaker mode, they're identical. Anything that's close to accurate, they will be identical, unless you're watching Alpha, Pan, Mad Max, and then again, it's like 2 seconds of scenes, right? Yeah. So I would say, run, don't walk, get the Samsung S95F if you're looking for a really good TV and you don't care about these things that are coming out 2 or 3 years from now. And more importantly, and this is one, I forgot to tell you this story. So the 83-inch, this is the best part, the 83-inch Samsung S95H. So the story is, so he's showing how it's 10% brighter, 2,700 nits, right? But of course, I'm thinking, wait, but the 83-inch isn't QD OLED. What will you do with an even brighter next generation 4-stack tandem RGB OLED, right? So I asked this is the head of TV, so he would know, wait a minute, wouldn't the 83-inch be brighter because it's not QD OLED, but primary RGB 4-stack? And then he stared at me a little bit. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I couldn't get confirmation last year.
And he's, hey, if you guys want an unleashed 4-stack primary RGB at the 83-inch, and I would think this applies to both last year and this year, but essentially, you know, he obviously won't go on the record beyond, yeah, it could be brighter. The fact that it could be brighter means that he's not holding it back to necessarily match because it is what it is. It's a primary RGB. It's got some muscle. And if he wants to sell TVs, he's going to unleash it because they will not ever tell you if it's QD OLED or OLED, which goes to the last part. And this is kind of a downer. If you ask anyone at Samsung, OLED is OLED to them.
No more delineation.
They're not distinguishing between QD or 4-stack or just
W.
basic W OLED. If it looks good, it's good. And I'll tell you this is why, and I think it's fair. Their processing is so good now, they're able to elevate the W OLED in terms of the color banding, the posterization, and they improved it again this year. So they show demonstrations of low bitrate content on the S95F and on the S95H. And this is low bit rate, where you have the posterization, the contouring, the macro blocking. On the S95H, it was cleaned up perfectly without adding some of the artifacts that people complain of. It was good. I was like, okay, this is why they don't need Dolby Vision. Because a lot of people say, hey, I need Dolby Vision because on my LG, I see the banding. Well, basically, LG couldn't do it, so they rely on Dolby Vision to do it. Samsung doesn't have Dolby Vision, so they cannot rely on a crutch. They actually have to process HDR10 better than the competition because they can't say, oh, just get the Dolby Vision version of this content. HDR10 Plus doesn't clean it up. It's just HDR10. And they're able to do it with HDR10, and that is on both earlier Samsungs and the newer ones. Just the newer one cleans it up even better. So if you watch, and I know a lot of you complain to me, oh, I have bad cable. Is there any TV that can do it? I'm thinking the Samsung's TVs for 2026 with the new processor and the new algorithm can do it because they're distinguishing that the older ones could not. It does not have the processing power. The new one does. So that's the second reason is, and it may not just be limited to the S95H though. I'm thinking it would go down to the S90H as well. So if you are looking for an OLED and you have cable, that may be a reason to get a 2026 Samsung.
Well, and I mean, Samsung's processing has come such a long way, again, hiding it from people and even not letting them choose between if it's a QD OLED or not, which is why I didn't review the S95F at 83 last year, though Robert Zone had it. I couldn't risk it because they wouldn't confirm to me that it was a 4-layer stack. And, you know, I'll do it this year from Roberts. But as far as look, the S90F is going to be the most popular TV in the world because it's glossy. The S90H is going to have a matte screen to some degree. I saw an S90H there. It didn't have a matte screen, but that was it looked like it was just a monitor. It was 83 inches, so I don't know. But the fact is I don't know, and that's kind of the challenge. Mm-hmm. So, but we will know soon. I just would like to know enough to start hyping it for you guys, and I can't. What's up, Terry?
And speaking of Dolby Vision.
Terry just retired. Congratulations, Terry.
Speaking of Dolby Vision and LG, right? LG is next. Do you have any closing thoughts on Samsung?
Well, I think we got to give a shout out to our good friends at Value Electronics.
Value Electronics. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, so for, Robert Zahn, Wendy Zahn, you guys know them for the world famous Value Electronics TV shootout. Mm-hmm. For me, they're dear friends, but I'm going to definitely be there more often this year. It's probably where you're going to see the first footage of the Samsung RGB Micro LED and probably LG's Micro RGB LED. I'll probably shoot those at the store.
Side by side.
Side by side. We
Against
also,
the Bravia 9.
And FOMO and I also... We do most of our TV coverage at our spring event at Value Electronics, which is our two OLEDs, usually Samsung versus LG. FOMO did come back and do the Sony Bravia 8 Mark II. So special shout out to Value Electronics. That's our crew. April
will be our showcase video comparing all of these TVs at Roberts Value Electronics. And now, why should you shop there? So real quick, a lot of TVs are going to start becoming obsolete, disappearing off the shelves. The Bravia 9 will be one of those, right? Once the Bravia 9 Mark II, or whatever they end up calling it, is released, the Bravia 9 will disappear. So I would say the TVs you'd want to call Robert are the ones from last year that will be disappearing from the shelves. The Bravia 9, the Samsung S90F or N95F, and especially the 83-inch size, definitely give Robert a call.
G series too?
He's the only retailer that offers calibration. At his store, you call him, you tell him kind of generally what your viewing environments are, what you want calibrated. He'll even do game mode, and it would be Dwayne Davis doing it, right? So he's got a top-notch, world-renowned calibrator doing it, and he will match any authorized dealer. So if you see a sale on Best Buy, give him a call, say, hey, I see this on Best Buy, and then he'll be able to offer you store credit to buy a matching sound bar, and then tell him Fillmore Brian sent you, and then he might throw you something special that we cannot share here.
Well, and Robert does also very high-end audio, if you guys want to do all that. But I mean, I'll definitely be there more next year. We got crazy busy, but I'm going to be able to shoot. And he always has the ultra-large TVs. So for many years, from the Z9K on, Z9G, I was able to shoot those at the store, so they'll be featured a lot more.
Yep. And I have to thank him. Very few retailers will close their business to allow us to shoot.
Yeah.
And when we do like the showcase in the spring, we literally take over his store for at least a day.
2 days. It's 2 days. It's been 2 days. Last. We did 3 days.
And so he's turning down business to let us shoot and talk. And I think that's a wonderful thing because it's on a weekend. That's normally when you have the crowds.
Yep.
So thank you again, Robert, for supporting us and supporting the TV industry. And of course, this live stream is sponsored by Valley Electronics.
Yep.
Now,
I'm going to start with LG.
LG. Okay, wait. Here it goes. Okay, so I say Bromo loves LG, which is much different from last year's CES where you were like crying in your beer.
Well, so, I mean, I'll say this with LG. Last year was a pivotal year for them, releasing a new technology, micro lens array going away. And we had heard a lot of claims of more efficient, brighter, but without the actual panel name. So we were a little let down by that. Things were very vague. The C series seemed very sidelined, which was unfortunate because the C5 was excellent. And it was a good deal brighter than the C4. C5 will probably end up going down as one of our most recommended. It always is every year. The QNEDs had gotten larger, but they were sidelined a bit. So, and they actually never really there for us to see to bring them to you. So I was worried about LG. I do buy their TVs for myself personally. I bought a G5 last year. I own a C1. And as much as we talk about mini LEDs, I love OLED. I love plasma. I buy OLEDs for myself. And I was very excited to see them strike back this year. Now the G6 is a more efficient panel. They have changed it to hyper
radiant.
Hyper radiant is what they're calling the panel.
So just quick reminder: if you guys are focused on getting anything that's a 4-stack primary RGB, hyper radiant literally is
the name. Which, believe me, tired of saying 4-stack RGB 4-layer. We just get them. None of them are really accurate to what the technology is. This is just easier to say, even though I keep forgetting it. So the G6, seeing that was great. Seeing the W6, which is the wallpaper returns. Robert had one of those, I think, 5 years ago. But the C6 is the star for me for the OLEDs. What it gets in terms of its boost with the processing, the Alpha 11 Gen 3, and the 77 and 83 also are going to have that new panel. And I know for those of you that want the smaller sizes are going to say, well, yeah, but what the hell? You're still going to get a brighter panel than the C5.
And that's what I was going to ask you is, he just wants to know, because he's not in the market for 77. Thank you, Kivankli79 for that question. But if I'm getting a 5565 C6, is there any improvement to the C5?
So what's funny, Kivanki, I had a C4 at 44, not 44, I'm sorry, what size was it? 42? 48? 48. So I had the C4, I had it against the G5 and the Z95B, and the TV hung in there. So, and that doesn't have any of the brightness pixel boosting technology. The 55 and 65, that's where it starts. So the C5 was already a good deal brighter than the C4. Expect the same brightness I heard from LG from the C6.
And that's if you're pushing it.
And that's if you're pushing it.
Vivid mode. But if you're watching Filmmaker, it's going to look the same.
But I think it's an appreciable difference. The processor is the key. But for many of you, what I think I'm excited about, and it's what we've always wanted for the C series, I'd love to always tell you that the C series is as good as last year's G series. And I feel like I can say that this year. I think that the 77 and the 83 are going to come close to what the G5 gave you. except you get the traditional C-Series design, which many of you prefer.
And cheaper.
Cheaper, and it has a stand, which many of you prefer. So seeing that be the showcase, but I will tell you, before we jump into the QNEDs, they look great. I got footage of both of them, and then they're the RGB Mini LED, which also look great. But for them to be more proficient this year, they were spread out well. The wallpaper was interesting because it's not that wireless M series, which I didn't see a need for. The wallpaper, I can see why people would buy that. But I was really excited to see LG kind of strike back the way they did. Also because Samsung, they're the only OLEDs in the show.
They dove deeper into the OLED TV. So let's talk about LG Electronics.
Yeah.
They also had a suite and invited us to the suite to check out all their products. But definitely you felt like the TV was center stage. The improvements, the technology, and for me the highlight was the C-Series not only
The highlight for you is when we went to the IT tour by accident.
Oh, I have a story to tell you guys about that one. That's a fun one. LG doesn't want me to share it, but I got to share it.
Don't talk about it breaking, but don't do that.
No. I got to share it. It's too funny. But we'll get there. We'll close it with that. So I'm so excited that finally the C-Series shares the same processor.
Yep.
And same panel technology at the 7783, which has always been the case in the past. In the past, if you remember, the C2 and the G2, everyone was saying, oh, the G2 is this much brighter, but ultimately they were so close.
They were almost identical.
You might as well get the C2, and I think we're there again. Unless they use software to really pull it back by like 1,000 nits, which I don't think they will do.
I don't think so
But
either.
ultimately, I'm already predicting gamers and normal people, 77-inch, 83-inch C6, everybody else, just content watchers, 83-inch B6.
But also, why I like with the C-Series, the problem was you had the S90 in that same category. So everyone basically said, unless you really love LG, there was no reason to go for the C-Series over the S90. Now with the processor, yes. And also, with the 77 and the 83, the C-Series is probably going to be brighter than the S90, especially if the S90 is going to be freaking matte.
Yeah.
So the C-Series is now going to be the sweetheart. It's going to be glossy. It's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be relatively affordable. And I'm going to focus on the C-Series and the B-Series this year. I've already spoken with LG about getting more access to the QNED lineup for you guys, so I can at least, Robert does carry them sometimes, but it's really hard for me to show them to you. I'm going to drive down to LG and actually film those TVs for you, and we'll get more coverage over them this year.
Thank you, Robert, for the super chat. We're going to start answering LG questions now in super chat because I know I had to hold it for this topic so we don't jump the gun. But Robert, this is a great question. Unless there is a better 77, 83-inch OLED, it will be the G6. Is there a better? So I love this gauntlet being thrown by an LG fan. Here is my proposal as possibilities. I hear that Sony is releasing a 77-inch Bravia 8 Mark II this year. Will it be better than the 77-inch G6? But at least we know it's going to be that size, and it'll be updated with the latest QD OLED from Samsung. So that's one possibility. Now, the 83-inch, and this is one that I really am excited about, is the Samsung S95H /S99H in Europe. This, the bezel notwithstanding, this is a possibility because they use the same panel, right? The hyper radiant 4-stack. But the difference will be, one, G6 has an updated gloss anti-glare, but it's still gloss. However, they're both going to have deep blacks. The Samsung will be slightly a touch less deep because of the matte, but the anti-glare is phenomenal, as always. And the processing last year demonstrated that Samsung does it better with WOLED than LG. The G5 versus the S95D, or S95F.
This is just in Classy's reporting, though. It's not blanket that.
I'm going to blanket it. Unless you guys can prove otherwise.
Yeah, but unless he can prove it,
And he has.
Yeah, but what does this got to do with LG right now?
No, that's last year.
Okay.
He's asking about this year. In 2026, do you think LG will up its processing
I
game?
do. That's why we're at the Gen 3.
I don't know.
This is why I don't agree
know.
with the Classy thing, is because that's one calibrator who says this may do this better.
No, not may. It did do it.
For him, I don't have that data, but I'll tell you this. The problem I have with the 83-inch TVs is Samsung won't admit to me what they are.
Well, they admitted this year. So the S95H.
He still didn't tell you
No,
what
he said it is. I said
he said
primary
it's a
RGB.
tad.
No, but he said it is primary for stack.
Okay,
He
all
confirmed
right.
that. So we are confirmed.
last year,
this
I'll
year
tell you
for
this.
sure, it's confirmed.
It's hard for me to go and say that the G5 is going to lose to one singular TV that they may not support. So if there's a problem with that 83-inch S95, whatever it is, they're not going to put out a specific update for that one model. If the other ones are all QD OLEDs, do you see what I'm saying? So if they won't confirm to me that's what it is. So I can't say, Samsung, fix this one size for me.
Okay.
That's why I struggle with it. So for me,
but 2026.
so but
last year.
Robert, for me, my friend, unless I can get them side by side at Roberts, it's going to be hard for me to recommend that one specific size.
Which we're going to try to do. Because
Yeah, we'll try. We'll see. Yeah,
83-inch is the
hard.
new, I mean, I hate to say it, but 83-inch is the new 65-inch. I think we skipped over 77-inch. For those enthusiasts, they realize, wow, 6 feet away from 83-inch, that's perfect.
Well, because
7 feet away, that's
because
perfect.
the other manufacturers are getting so large. 77 also. Then you get into a bunch of other competition, and I think with FOMO, look, here's the problem I have is that when you change, I want QD OLED 83 so bad.
It's not happening.
It's never going to happen.
Because they've done so well in improving force stack. Well, actually, it's going to be worse. My prediction, I don't think QD OLED, and this is my prediction, no inside scoop or anything here.
Monitors.
My prediction is QD OLED will be limited to monitors. In the near future, 2027,
It's
maybe
great for it.
2028,
Yeah.
it will all be LG's technology because LG has raised the performance of WOLED with, force stack, hyper radiant, whatever, to the point where Samsung's like, okay, if we're going to spend less money sourcing OLED and it's that good and we lose a little bit of color luminance, that's fine because no one cares.
Yeah.
No one can. I know you few enthusiasts care, and I'm not going to sideline
But
you.
it's so close now than what the G, because the
close.
G4 it would turn white. But I think to your point about the processing and Classy's point, I think that's why you have a Gen 3 Alpha 11 processor now, is to try to clean up that little
That was
bit.
it. They didn't have enough processing power.
I don't
And this
think
is
they
what
had enough.
LG has told us. Like, look,
I think it was too much.
every time we see a problem, if we don't have the processing power, we can't fix it. Now, this is the year.
Yep.
And more importantly, last year, that was the #1 problem that all reviewers had. Like, every one of them. Ratings was the first to yell with pitchforks, LG, what happened to your processing? They know, they admitted this is an issue. They could not fix it with that limited bandwidth. They got the bandwidth this year, and that bandwidth applies to the C series. I will give them the benefit of the doubt that they fixed it, but then again, we have to see. And let's do it without Dolby Vision, guys. Do not use that crutch. I know you guys love Dolby Vision, but that's a crutch for our TV makers to be lazy, in my opinion. Like, do it with base HDR10, so I don't have to find a Dolby Vision version of something.
Yeah, and it's very, and well, the thing is, even for our side-by-sides FOMO, it's very hard to do apples to apples, because even our splitters,
Oh, the color's different
there's
too,
a handshake
slightly.
different, and in HDR10 Plus, you're able to use all the presets. And Dolby Vision, LG has more options, but overall, very happy to see what LG showed. And again, the only OLEDs, and that's why I was mad at Samsung. Give me more OLEDs to see. And after we see LG, we're not going to see you're not going to see another video about OLEDs while we're here.
It'll be, this is why you think LG is going to win the year, because LG is really focused. So they're hyper-focused. So Samsung and LG are very different. LG is hyper-focused on the product itself. Samsung appears to be very focused on the ecosystem, very much like Apple. Look, guys, if you get the Galaxy, the earbuds, the phone, the refrigerator, the washer dryer, and the TV, it all pulls together. On your TV, you're going to see who's walking through your front door when the doorbell rings. You don't have to turn to a separate device, and then suddenly you have a reminder, hey, did you cook dinner yet? Is there enough protein for your refrigerator? Go shopping, buy more apples. It's moldy. So stuff like that, that's what Samsung's looking at, and that is an audience.
Yeah,
now,
but seeing Samsung, let's go back to Samsung and LG. But even LG, I'll say this, with their demo material, it's very quick, But the way Samsung had the first look lined up, if they had the S95H there, I'll give you an example. They had the S95H compared to, I believe, an S90 from last year. No word on it that it was the S95H. It just said 77-inch OLED. The reason why I knew it was an S95H because it had the silver bezel.
Yep.
Otherwise, I don't even know what it is. So I would love it. Just let me talk about it. Let me show how amazing TVs are. And like what you're saying, if Samsung has that extra processing, let me show some of it, right? Let me show some of it.
And we have a few super chats. We haven't forgotten you. Let's hit that real quick. Michael McGee, thank you so much for your generosity. Coming in to see Bromo was the highlight of my day. We love being the highlight.
Highlight for you, us too.
You should officially change the name of your joint streams to the Bromo Show.
We may.
I think we can. Yeah. No, you guys are awesome. That's why we do it. And I got a couple more here. Brooklyn Blaze, #1. Happy New Year, FOMO.
What's up, Blaze?
And all. I'll be buying a 2026 TV this year. My audience.
Nice, Blaze.
I'm usually a Sony guy, but LG with the C6, I'm excited, which uses the same processor and the same panel, the 7783-inch G6 as the G6. Looks enticing, it is. I'll be watching you guys closely this year. So just to let you guys know, a quick teaser, and I might have to do 2 days of streaming at Valley Electronics in the spring. I do want to put the C6 next to the G6. Hopefully they launch close enough together we can do that.
Yeah, they may.
And need to have the G5 there. Like, is it that much better? Because if I can save you guys money, and you guys don't have a problem
if we
with
can do
contouring,
C6 G5, but I mean,
that'd be great.
So Blaze's, and Blaze, we'll revisit this in the Sony section. This is why the C series is so important. The Bravia 8 carried over. I don't know. I don't go by the leaks because we've been let down. The leaks have sounded better than the reality. It's not that I want to dispel them. I wish they were true.
I should have a checklist of leaks.
But I don't know what Sony's doing as far as an OLED. If it may be a 77-inch Bravia 8 Mark II.
Again, that's a leak.
But I'd love to see a Bravia, like a W OLED that maybe uses LG's latest to compete with the C6. That would be great.
And borrow Samsung's image processing to clean up the pixelation.
Sony's not going to do that. But my point is, to your point, Brooklyn, is that the C series may be the only game in town, which is pretty ironic for LG to go back to being their OLED will be really the only choice.
Yeah.
Especially if the S90H becomes matte. Many of you are going to be very upset. As far as enthusiasts, I would run out to Costco right now and grab your S90F while they're still there.
And
I mean, honestly.
And I would say the G5. Okay, I think people made a big deal of the posterization color banding.
I love the G5.
So I want to be fair. I have the G5 still. I'm watching it, and honestly, when I watch content that I normally watch,
it's gorgeous.
Netflix, everything. Even if I look for it, I'm having a hard time finding the color banding. And I know they did fix it significantly, but it's still there, and I can't find it. So if anything, the G5 should be the TV to get.
So the problem with the G5, as we all know, is that, here's the tragedy for LG. The G5 should have smoked everything. Not the shootout. Forget about the shootout or Vincent's shootout or anything. It had a clear path to the basket. And it stumbled in some key areas, especially, and then it never recovered.
It double dribbled.
It dribbled off its foot, but it never recovered. So it was kind of left. So my guess for LG, when the G5 starts to drop in price, now you guys are going to go back. And look, I love my G5. I have no regrets about it, but I think it just got painted with it deserved it, and they made some mistakes. But they should have just dominated last year, which is why I'm glad they didn't mail it in and just go RGB Mini LED. We didn't talk about that.
We will.
But I think that the fact that they're still making that their showpiece, the G6, and the C6, I was really worried the C6 would go kind of even more so into that Costco territory.
Yeah.
Now the C6 to me is going to be the crown jewel for value.
This is a great question, I think, for you. So I'll just start off and you can finish it. Thank you for the super chat. Wudagazawana, 5,000. S95F versus LG G5 for high-end PC gaming, any issues? So I'll throw out the image quality. That's obvious, right? Forget settings or anything. S95F is QD OLED, and it has a matte anti-glare. LG G5 is like a glossy W OLED. Right away, in a bright room, you will notice the G5 has deeper blacks. You'll see some reflections, but the blacks are definitely deeper. You'll feel in a bright room again, contrast on the G5 perceptively looks better. Now, in a dark room, they're a lot closer. So if you're a gamer in a bright room, the G5 will look like it has better contrast, right? And that gives you a feeling of higher resolution. In a dark room, it's a little bit harder. Now, when it comes down to actual gaming, you'll see the discussion. HGIG versus S95F's missing HGIG.
Yeah.
Is that important to you? Now for PC gaming, this is such a unique niche. I cannot comment. I'm a PS5 guy because to me that's easier to game and test. Brian, take it away. This guy's a PC gamer.
So
he's out there paying insane memory prices.
Yeah, so for us, I think as PC gamers, my fear for the S95 is always going to be dropouts. I haven't experienced them myself, but my time with the S95F was pretty limited. It was 2 days at Value Electronics, and it was at the boot camp. I didn't actually have an S95. I didn't see a need to actually get it because I had spent so much time with it. And it's hard to say that it's not going to have dropouts. I've already seen some comments in the chat that people were returning them. The problem with dropouts is that your cable, is that your GPU, is that you're not going to see that from the G series. So I'm very excited to see what they do with the S95H and having that on the back of the TV. But I always, and we've said this, FOMO, for 3 years now, the One Connect is always going to be a point of failure. So that alone,
they listen.
They listen, and that alone is going to make the G5 the PC-centric choice for me.
Speaking of PC-centric gaming,
so
finally we got to Tater Tots 777. I saw the LG RGB Evo. It said 165 Hz with 330 Hz boost. Is that 4K 330 or 1080p? How does that work? Is it like the Samsung 8K 240? And how many nits is the LG RGB Evo? So I'm going to throw in my 3 cents real quick. I think the 330 Hz limits the resolution, right? To 1080p, right? It's not 4K. But here's,
it's going to downsample and then upscale.
Now, here's the thing is, LG's QNED we never took seriously as a gaming TV because in the past, at the largest sizes, they did not transfer the VRR technology to
the
it.
HDMI 2.1 was only, it wasn't 4 like they had. It was very...
And we've never truly recommended QNED for gaming, mostly because QNED in the past has fallen so far behind in image quality. What's the point of gaming when you have other options? Now, this is
their own lineup, especially.
Yeah, in their own lineup. Now, in this new world of RGB, micro RGB, Evo, all that good stuff,
take a picture of this comment,
it appears that LG is taking a serious attempt at making it a gaming TV, not just an LG alternative, just so they could say, oh, we got an RGB technology, but rather they're appealing to gamers. And to me, this is interesting because I know RGB Mini LED or Micro RGB does not have quantum dot layer, right? That's the whole point. You're removing a layer so you can have the direct RGB backlight. However, by doing that, you're introducing, I believe, in motion color smearing that was eliminated with quantum dot layer. Specifically, the red decay times are longer than the others, and so you will see red ghosting when there's no quantum dot on normal Mini LED TVs, or just LCD QLEDs without the quantum dots. Wait, then it wouldn't be QLEDs, just regular LCDs without the quantum dot. So quantum dot eliminates the ghosting.
That was actually a conversation we had a couple of years ago. That,
now, we've taken that out again. So the question is, this being a dedicated gaming TV, are you going to see motion smearing issues? We don't know, right? And it's just all speculation. So I'm wondering how they're going to fix that. And I'm meeting with Nanosys tomorrow during lunch. Nanosys is the inventor of quantum dots for TVs, right? That's their big thing. And so I told them, look, prepare for me all the issues of RGB TVs because they're literally eating your market share, right? No more quantum dots, it's RGB. How can, like, what is the shortcoming of not having quantum dots? So we'll see what they say. Now, Brian?
Yeah, so as far as the gaming aspect of it, I think maybe a couple of years ago before DLSS and that stuff was out, I would say I didn't want to hear upscaling, downsampling, but that really is the way of the future. I find it interesting they're going to do that, especially if we're talking about maybe color smearing. To go higher with 330 Hertz, I would imagine that would be more of a problem, but we're going to see. As far as like the 8K 240 Hertz, I really couldn't get that to work with my 4090 and the Q990F. So I hope it's a little bit more direct. It's hard to do these custom resolutions in your GPU's control panel. So I'll have to wait and see. I'll have to bring a PC with me. It's hard for me to say you should buy it for those reasons. Whenever you're going way past the native refresh rate of the panel, now you're relying on compatibility issues. I think it's cool features to have, but I wouldn't get anything. Like I wouldn't go get an 8K TV for that reason or the RGB for that reason because it may be compatible with one game, not another, and it's going to cause some issues. I think it's cool that they have it. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go buy it for that reason.
I agree, and especially it's a new technology, guys.
Scaling is always going to be hard.
So let's talk about new technologies like Micro RGB or RGB Mini LED. The worst thing you could do with a new technology, new panel technology, is test gaming on it, because I can guarantee you the TV makers are just focused on color accuracy, contrast, the bare basics. Let's just get people watching Netflix to be happy. The last thing they're going to tune is gaming. Can you imagine how much processing it takes to game? Yeah. Getting everything moving at the same time at the refresh rates. We're not talking 4K 60. That's why I do console. I don't have to worry about high performance, high frame rate gaming.
Trash.
PC gamers do not even be curious.
I like them 30 FPS, baby.
Get an OLED and be happy. Do not experiment.
Yeah.
High performance PC gaming on a first generation.
I can't remember, but who told us? Was it Samsung? Somebody said that. It might have. No, I think it might have been David with. It was with LG saying that the goal was to take some of the pressure off of your GPU by offering these. Let the TV do it. So
yeah.
I mean that goes back into memory and processing. So I don't know. But again, we talked about that with the 5090 having a hard time doing 30 frames or 60 frames. Everything is going to be AI, frame insertion and upscaling. So it's just here to stay. So we'll see. I just can't recommend that being a feature you chase. That's all.
Agreed. And Sean,
what's up,
sorry,
Sean?
I think we just missed him. He went to bed. But hey, thank you for your generosity, Sean. So happy to be back with you all. And again, best wishes to your mom. I'm happy with my Bravia 9 85-inch. And if you guys don't know, he's been struggling with all of his Samsung 8Ks. Yeah, and he finally moved to the Bravia 9. He's like, yes, issues. I'm back to 4K.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see this year's shootout of TVs by both of you. Let's see what beats the Bravia 9 and how good RGB LED TVs can be. The Samsung 8Ks, he loves it, but the DSC is what made him lost faith. Going to bed, 3 a.m. in India.
Good morning, my friend. Good night.
And Tom Brennan has a great question. My favorite YouTubers, hey, thank you. And any word on the 97-inch G6 having an upgraded panel or the same G2 panel they've been using for years? I really want a large immersive OLED. Should I just go with a discounted G4, Brian?
A discounted 97-inch G4? Mm-hmm. Tom, I'd still wait. I would say probably not. I think because
the answer is no.
I would say the OLEDs at 97 sell themselves because they're the only game in town. I think if Samsung had a 97-inch OLED.
No, he's asking if it'll have the G6 hyper radiant technology. No.
I mean, I haven't heard that, but I'm guessing. But guess what? The reason what I'm saying to you is the reason why I don't think they've had to do that is no one else has a competing 97-inch. If Samsung did, I think they'd be forced to, but I don't think you'd want especially with micro lens array, the TV was already 25 grand.
Now the 97-inch, so first of all, get the G4, and they did not receive AMOLED. They will not receive the hyper radiant
or 144 hertz. They're stuck at 120.
Right.
They're still beautiful OLEDs. I mean, they're actually they're all there is. They're beautiful. You will see the processor probably there. But it's just hard to recommend them. If you needed a large OLED, go get them. But go get get the G2 or the G4.
Yeah, whatever is discounted.
Yeah,
right.
And definitely hit Robert for that one.
Oh yeah, Robert.
He can get you those.
Definitely.
But and I would say this to you, Tom, because they're stuck at 97. I would say let's do a C series at that size.
Mm-hmm.
Would be or a B series at that size. If they're not going to go with the brighter TV, but if they did go bright and it decimated all the mini LEDs, it still wouldn't sell. And I think that's why they're not
30,000.
It would just be a 30,000. That's why that's in my opinion. That's why the Z series, which is still my favorite LG TVs, went away because they had 88 inches, which was a great size, but they were so expensive. How can you compete with these 100-inch TVs that are $2 grand?
Okay, and Tom, just a reminder, definitely call Robert at Value Electronics because these are special order, small batch TVs. I think he can work with you on the pricing and so forth because no one else is really competing with him on that. He's probably the #1 seller of that size, by the way. But if you go on Best Buy, it's not even available because it's a special order. So yeah, reach out to Robert of Electronics, and for sure he'll take care of you. Now, Tater Tots, you pinned my LG 330 hertz. What, did I pin it? What?
You paid $2 to tell us that?
I hope I didn't pin it.
That's a good picture of it.
I'm like, wait, what's happening here? What did I pin? I don't know.
We can follow up after an unpin.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It's not a bad comment.
I mean, now everyone's looking at his question, right? Like, oh, I lost the control to unpin it, so I'll unpin it later. Thank you, buddy. And we got, make sure I don't miss any of your super chats.
So while we're going through the
Wait, Sean's still awake. I went to bed.
Oh, what's up, baby? Good morning.
What were you saying, Brian?
No, continue with
Okay. Hey, Sean, since you're still awake, I know you're about to fall over. 2026 is the year of World Cup soccer. Yes, it is. USA, crickets and women, UK, men in India. Hope Sony releases its lineup by May. I think it will. I think we're going to have announcements, but you're right. You want to release, and is it a global release? It's just India, America, so all of that remains to be seen. Will anyone beat Sony in processing this year? If yes, then who, according to you both? Good night, God bless.
Don't wait to say good night, leave you hanging. You're never going to get any sleep waiting for the answer.
So here's my answer. In SDR, Sony has always been untouchable. So if you watch mostly SDR content, sports, stuff like that, I think Sony's going to be great. HDR, I think it'll be Samsung and LG. Samsung is my lead for HDR processing. And LG, if they fix it, could be a close second, but then you have Panasonic and Sony. But my speculation is for HDR content, it's the Samsung. But for SDR, which is what most sports will be in, I'd stick with Sony.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, and Sony's also, I mean, they're very even keeled with their processing. You don't, I mean, anytime I get a Sony TV that I have in the studio, you don't have to change the presets. It's just set it and forget it. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, we talk about the Bravia 9, it's so good that it's not sexy. It doesn't yell at you as I'm amazing. It's just amazing. So I think that's what Sony's gonna have. We'll get to Sony in two spots, but Sony has to up the sexiness of their design or their pop to say, hey, so do they sacrifice a little bit of that accuracy FOMO to get them people excited when you're seeing these micro RGBs, color, and they're gonna have to just make that more prominent. The Bravia 9 was so good, people didn't notice it. It just was so good at what it did. We're going to need a little bit more oomph for them now, I think. But as far as processing, they're always going to be great. And
this is a really good reminder, Robert. Thank you for that super chat. So he has the G5, and he's had other OLEDs.
And he's had growing pains with it, man. I think that thing took some years off your life, bro. Hope you're feeling better, by the way, Robert.
My G5 stuns me every time I watch it.
That TV was a bane
It's
of
done
his
a great
existence.
job.
He had a rough
the
year,
cons
bro.
were overblown. I just want the new hotness. So Robert has two wonderful points to make. First, the G5, after all the firmware updates, is now a really good TV. And this goes to kind of a general theme. So many TV makers are releasing the TVs with unbaked firmware, right? They're still working on it. And finally,
it was a first adopter too. It was a hard. Yeah. And Robert bought that.
By the end of the year, the G5 is what it should have been at the beginning. I love it. I got all my updates. I think it looks great. So this is for you waiting for the G6. Unless there is a specific feature on the G6 that you want, right? Very specific. And we'll get into what those are when the TVs come in, because some of it's hype right now, so we want to talk about what is it really doing. Yeah. But the G5, as it is, it's a great TV for gaming, for everything.
Yeah, so I think what Robert's trying to say is that, and nobody felt the pain of it more than Robert, because he was in the comments, and we responded, and I actually reached out to LG, and it all worked out, but Robert knows the pain of the real problems versus the ones you shouldn't go nuts over. So if he's happy, it's definitely something you can buy. You know? And he has them all. He's got the Z95B, he's got the S95F, he's got everything.
Well, let's talk about his last point. I just want the new hotness. Okay, so the new hotness, so we all have the disease, right? FOMO. And you want the latest and greatest, but is it latest and greatest? And this takes us to the next super chat, Mr. Kislev. A little disappointed, no Dolby Vision 2 and no HDMI 2.2. I hope the Bravia 9 Mark II will have it. And so that's the other thing is LG has been the Dolby Vision leader, I would say. They are the client monitor in Hollywood for Dolby Vision, right? Dolby Vision works very closely with them. And they're like, wait, why didn't you give us the memo about Dolby Vision 2? So I think they didn't get it in time to update their processor. I think 2027 will be the year of Dolby Vision 2 on the hardware side, but then that goes back to content, Mr. Kiselev. Like HDR10 Plus, Dolby Vision 2 will give you the opportunity to elevate the base content to the brightness of your TV. And of course, you guys all know the G5, now the G6, and the G4, G3 even, they got brighter and brighter, and we're talking 2,000 nits, right? Over 2,000 nits. And you really need Dolby Vision 2 to elevate the content that was not quite graded in HDR the way you want it. You want that specular highlight to punch you in the face. Brian, are you disappointed by no Dolby Vision 2?
So VM, it's a great question, because if anyone was going to have that, I thought it would have been LG, because they typically have the best, except for last year they had some issues, they have the best Dolby Vision implementation bar none. They're the only ones that have a Dolby Vision filmmaker mode that's real. But I think this is the way they're looking at it, and you may be disappointed depending on how long you hold on to your TVs. If I'm thinking LG, and I know LG well, is to say, look, when it becomes commonplace, as you and I both think, will they remaster the movies? I'm going to think they're not going to. I can't see Netflix now saying, I think Apple TV may do that and say, oh, you know what, you have Die Hard. We've all been on this rodeo many times where...
You know what, let me stop you right there before I forget. Apple, the leak is, and I think I read this on Mac.
They're doing HDR10 Plus 2 and Dolby Vision.
Dolby Vision 2. So the question is, and we don't know if this is going to happen, it's not official, if the new Apple 4K TV is released with Dolby Vision 2 support, will they be filtering the metadata to give you the ability to use Dolby Vision 2, right, without regard to the actual streaming?
So maybe, and that'll be the thing where you can force it. But here's what I'll say to you:
that'd be a crazy
by the time
experiment.
It's actually commonplace, you'll probably be buying a new TV.
Oh yeah,
it'll be like 4 years. It might be 4 years. So I think that's why. But I'll tell you this, talking about FOMO. This, you guys appreciate this. I was mad about Dolby Vision 2. I don't want another format war. I'm finally at the point now where I'm like, if you want a Samsung with HDR10 Plus, get it. If you want Dolby Vision, get it. But we were at TCL, and when we saw the X11L and they said Dolby Vision 2 support, I did have that FOMO. Because I'm like, well, now that I have a TV in front of me that's got it, checking that box is something that is hard to not have. But my logic, I think, with LG is, look, by the time that it becomes commonplace, and maybe why would you want an outdated Dolby Vision 2 from 4 years ago? There's no such thing as future-proofing in technology, as we all know.
Don't never buy something hoping
so
for a future,
so you're going to find that maybe if LG does Dolby Vision 2 in 3 years, the Dolby Vision 2 on these new TVs will be archaic. So I think that's how they were looking at it. So, but to your point, and HDMI 2.2 I could care less about.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but I understand what you're saying. Because that's going to sit there too and do nothing.
Here's some great wrap-up points that we can throw in. D-Jetty.
Were you with us at Samsung?
D-Jedi 2012.
Sorry, Samsung, kidding.
I'm disappointed for so many other reasons. They didn't bring in a 12-bit panel. That's not coming.
That's not coming.
No display port. For gamers, okay, so Hisense has display port, but it has its issues.
And nobody cares.
But no one,
display port, I'll say this real quick before we go back. So Hisense did display port, which was great. Display port was so needed before HDMI 2.1 became commonplace. So now they put that thing on the side of the TV, nobody cared, and then we did try to use it, and it gave me no benefit over HDMI 2.1. So back in the day when we were stuck at 4K 60, DisplayPort was the only thing we could do. So it's such a niche thing.
Well, let's talk niche.
Hisense is going to do it again, but...
Niche, what about 240 hertz? Is there anything more niche than that? And I'm not going to marginalize your need for 240 hertz. I understand PC gamers want it.
240 is great, but the problem we're having again is that the GPUs that are now going to 5090 is going to be here for another year.
It's not
because of these RAM
It's not doing 240.
It can't do 240. So again, what we want, and I totally understand what you're saying. This is where you're better off just going for monitors.
A real monitor.
A real monitor.
That does 360.
Yeah, and I get. Believe me, I want what you want. I think I've just been in this game a little to know that having it there on the shelf when I can't actually utilize it, it's just going to...
The big one for me is no gigabit port. And the reason it's big is I hard line all my TVs because I don't trust the Wi-Fi.
No. Especially with the splitters, we have to compare everything.
We are professionals that use that. Most consumers don't even know what an Ethernet cable is.
No.
I mean, the only people who buy Ethernet cables on Amazon or wherever are the ones that used to shop at Fry's. We're talking about hardcore, kind of do-it-yourself people.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of those around. I bet
No.
you that American Ethernet cable sales are not going up because Wi-Fi is so good enough now. So yeah, you will never see, I don't want to say never, but they're not going to spend any money on it.
And now too, if you look at where people are putting their all of their internet gear, they don't want that stuff near their TV. They don't want any of their stuff connecting. We're actually getting away from even the HDMIs being connected. So I think that's going to be tough.
Now, before we wrap up LG, Samsung,
We
and
spent a lot of time
move
on
on
each
to
one.
Hisense, I know, right? Before we get to Hisense, this is a great way to segue to Hisense, is our initial impressions after seeing the G6 and the S95H. Thank you for that super chat, Chuckleton. So I'll start, and then I think Brian has a bit more to say on this one.
I should have less to say.
Maybe less to say. My initial impressions are this, and so this is the thing. We are at a point where it's all incremental improvements, meaning going from the G5 to the G6,
Yeah.
it's slightly brighter, right? Processing will be slightly improved, but then that means it's a slightly better G5. S95H, exactly the same.
Yep.
A slightly better S95F.
Yeah.
Now here are the big changes for you guys. The C series, C6, is now going to be similar to the G6. So for me, that's big. Now, as far as impressions, forget image quality, you're going to have a hard time distinguishing between these flagship TVs. What you will be choosing is based less on image quality,
Lifestyle.
more on, S95H, matte, anti-glare,
Frame.
the bezel, the opportunity to add a zero connect box if you want to in the future.
Wash your clothes.
You wash your clothes. watch your
Get the
clothes
blueberries
washing.
out of your
right?
fridge.
The whole Samsung ecosystem. That's the S95H. The G6, more of the same, just slightly better over the G5. So save money, get the G5. There's nothing about the G6 that says get me over the G5. It doesn't scream out to me. It's just an evolution. Like if it had Dolby Vision 2, at least you could say future-proof, but there's something there. But right now, the G6 is probably going to be a more polished G5. They've had a year with Force Stack, calling it hyper radiant.
They're
now.
working on it halfway through last year anyway,
Yeah.
so they probably in tandem are working on them both, fix one, and then carry it over.
And now, as far as the actual initial impression, our problem is what we saw at first look, the S95H was in art mode. So unless you want to hear my impressions of art mode, that doesn't do much for you guys, right? I mean, the art mode looked great, by the way.
Well, we did see it, and I captured it for you guys. We did see it side by side, but it was more about the glare-free or the anti-glare. But I can't again confirm that was even that could be a new S90. Only because the frame did I know. But here's the problem: it was the same demo as for the last 2 years. It's the cat, the cake, the candle. So we can't really get you anything from that. My take on it is the curse of OLEDs is they're all amazing.
Yeah.
So when they do get better, when we jumped to QD OLED, that was a massive leap. Even the A90J with the heatsink was a big jump. There's nowhere for them to go. They're just really good. But if we put them all in a room, you're going to have a hard time picking them out. Where Mini LED can get better with their local dimming. There's so many attributes where they struggle. Their jumps are huge. OLEDs, if I told you it was an RGB Micro RGB OLED, you'd believe me because the colors look that good, even if it's not 100% BT 2020.
Speaking of that, this is something I wanted to mention. I forgot to. This is very important for you guys. Micro RGB, doesn't matter who it's from, right? Micro RGB or RGB Mini LED or even SQ Mini LED. What I did notice was this. In the comparison with HDR10 versus HDR10 Plus Advanced, the minute I walked off angle, I lost color saturation on both the RGB micros. And I had to stand dead center to see, because I thought, wait a minute, what did HDR10 Plus Advanced, what did I lose color saturation? I was about to just nail it for being terrible, but then I went back on angle, like, oh, okay, it's not 10 Plus Advanced. Off angle is still a thing. It's still an issue with LCD TVs. This applies to Samsung's flagship and likely will apply to everyone else's flagship. Now, I'm going to speculate that Sony didn't solve it with their RGB LED, but we'll wait and see. But this is something that if you want size, you have no choice. 98-inch plus, there's no OLED. But if it's within your budget and you're at the 83-inch size, I highly recommend looking at a B series because that off angle, I think, is pretty significant. Now, the B series is not cheap. It's even like $1899 or $1999. So if your budget is around $2,000, you're looking at the 85-inch range, I'd start with an OLED. But if you're larger than 83, 85, then yeah, you're going to have to deal with a slight off-angle loss of contrast / color saturation. But does that bother you, Brian? So Brian doesn't care.
Well, I mean, I did see the RGB from TCL had great off-angle viewing. I was shocked at how good it was.
Yeah, it's better than before, but then you're so used to OLED, right?
But, I mean, OLEDs, even an average OLED is still unbelievable.
All right, moving on to Hisense. And, okay, so I'm going to say this. So far, all the TV makers, TCL, Samsung, LG, they have been so excited about their flagship. Like, LG didn't even show off a B series because it's more of the same. Yeah. But they only spoke about flagship, right? TCL, $10,000 98-inch, $8,000 85. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars. Samsung Micro RGB, $15,000 plus, I'm sure of it. Even their S95H, same price as the G6, $5,000 to $6,000 at the 83-inch size. What I love is Hisense entering the fray, saying RGB Mini LED is the next generation, but it's going to be on the U8, U9. This is clearly meant to say, if you don't have money, or you have less money, it's not going to be cheap. If you have less money, shop us. And regardless of how we compare the image quality stuff, because we'll see side by sides, but the Hisense U8, U9 RGB Mini LED at all sizes. This makes the technology accessible to those of you curious, hey, what's all the hubbub about Mini RGB Mini LED? Okay, I'm confused. And it's great because notice no one else is introducing affordable RGB Mini LED because TCL's, it's the same price as the X11L. It's going to be between $6,000 and $10,000.
But they're not going to have small sizes of it.
Oh, and not even small sizes. Yeah.
Hisense will.
Those of you in the 65-inch market, and as well as Samsung, but that's going to be very flagship pricing. So Samsung will have smaller sizes, right? 65-inch and up for their Micro RGB. But Hisense is telling you, look, if you got 10 grand, go Micro RGB all day long. But if you're if you're RGB curious. You know where I was going.
You want to check it out.
If you're RGB curious, we got it for you. And I love the spectrum. No one is overlapping really. And we're definitely going to review that. Hisense has reached out to us. They have sets ready to go as well.
But Hisense, I think, too, from what we saw, they're doing a second generation. So they had the advantage of being first. So now their RGB Mini LED is going to be second gen. They added another color. I don't know what color it was. They talked about the color they added. But they're going to be the first. So like TCL is doing the SQD. Then they're 8 and 7 are going to be SQD. Then they have an RGB. Hisense is going RGB, second gen, and then RGB first gen on their 8 and 7. And I think their 6 is going to carry over as well, FOMO. Mm-hmm. So they're going all in on RGB. But I think they're more confident because it's their second generation RGB. Last year was their first shot at it. They went 116, then 100. Mm-hmm. They may have solved some of the issues that LG Display brought up. Damn them. Hi.
Wait. I have to put this up. This guy knew where I was going.
You can say about your channel.
You guys are terrible.
So I think that's going to be... What I love is they're all doing different stuff. If they were all doing RGB Mini LEDs, they're all doing separate ones. I don't know how many sizes there's going to be for LGs. I think LG is going to be a totally different animal. Mm-hmm. TCL is going to be a totally different animal. So that's what I'm happy about. Hisense, though, I will say it makes me a little nervous. If there are issues with that technology, it's going to be on all of their TVs. I can't see them doing that. So I think they may have solved some of the problems, having more experience with it. So we'll see.
Yep. And so this is another thing about Hisense, which we like all the other companies, TCL, Samsung, LG, Hisense, and Sony, obviously, and Panasonic, they are very good at doing updates, honestly. Hey, Classy and I both like the L9Q. Yeah. I mean, we're talking TVs, but Classy and I, we like our ultra short throw Hisense L9Q. So yeah, if you guys want affordable 120-inch, the L9Q is the way to go. I put it on a white wall, by the way. I don't even have a screen.
No, my Valerian's on a white wall.
Yeah, it's on a white wall, and my wife's like, that's good enough, looks great. I'm like, you're right, it looks great. And even with a little bit of ambient lighting, it's not a problem, right? Unless you have a bright room with sun shining onto the wall, that no go. But a little bit of ambient lighting, I watch it, I'm fine. So the size is awesome. Okay, back to Hisense. So they have flagship, right? You've seen the announcement. They got the 116-inch UX.
They're doing DisplayPort again.
And they have the cyan. So let's talk about.
So yeah, cyan was the color they
We haven't seen
added.
it in person though. I mean, in theory, it sounds good though. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see them tomorrow. Tomorrow, or the next day?
Tuesday. So yeah, tomorrow is the start of CES. You guys getting a sneak peek from us?
We haven't even been there yet.
Yeah. So we'll be at Hisense shooting.
I think it's. I love that they're, again, like TCL, they're aggressive, they're going for their own thing. Them going first with RGB Mini LEDs, they were the first to show them last year, them and Samsung. But that was a Micro RGB from Samsung. It was just a prototype. They showed the real TV, and then we went and saw the real TV. So that's going to be excellent to go see. But I'm not confident we're going to see the lower TVs. That's what I really wanted to see from them. I really wanted to see, like last year, I wanted to see their 7 U8. What was last year? UAQ. I want to see that in the U7. They held those back. So I don't know how much we're going to see. We might see those projectors. We're definitely going to see their sound. But I think you're going to end up seeing probably that micro LED wall, 163, and then you're going to see this new 2nd gen RGB.
And I want to give Hisense at least the roses here. Everyone's talking RGB Mini LED, Micro RGB. It feels like it's the same thing, right? It's RGB, red, green, blue. But Hisense is trying to elevate the competition. They're throwing a cyan.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that it's better or worse. We have to see it. But by doing that, right, doesn't that kind of push everyone else to go, what, cyan?
Well, the funny thing is, how many times, who the hell gave a crap about what magenta was in your regular life? Is that a magenta coat? On TVs, it's magenta. I can't wait to hear, you see cyan on that? A little bit of a cyan. I'm gonna do a T-shirt cyan for everybody.
Yeah, we should just wear a cyan.
So I mean, it really is like color science. Like you're just mixing it. There's some cyan on the screen. So I think I love that they're all doing different, especially when we start doing comparisons of what TCL sends us and Hisense, and we put them together. They're not going to be the same technology. So right now they're both mini LEDs. This is going to be, an RGB mini LED versus an SQD. It's going to be really. Our cameras are like, what the hell's going on?
I know, like, what?
That's cyan tint on that TV?
And it might be. So I'm going to have to adjust my camera post-production to make sure it's accurate. But ultimately, whether or not it works or not, so here's the point. Unless TV makers are willing to be bold and try these things, and I'm sure they already tested in QC and it looks great, but if they don't do that, then the competition just sits on their laurels. Oh, everyone's doing the same thing. Now, to be fair,
no one's doing the same anything.
No.
They're like, choo, which is great.
You have to pay more for the cyan. It's unique to the. I was hoping it trickled down to the U8, U9.
That's right. It's not going to. It's only on the flagship.
UX. Now, maybe next year it will. Assuming it's even a success.
Well, the way they are, they'll do it like 3 months later.
Could be.
We saw the 116
You
UX.
added a firmware update.
So the funny thing is, we saw the 116 UX, and it was a Bruce Fairchild. He's like, look, we might be doing a 100-inch. Shh, don't tell anybody. Like a week later, it was out. I was like, damn. I was like, really?
Here's a great question. FOMO, sticking to Hisense. I noticed you really like the U7 this year. My editor's choice HDR TV because of the value, the performance,
it's bright.
Everything.
It's brighter than UAQ.
So should I get the 85-inch now, 85 U75QG, or wait until 2026? I say get it now, and this is why.
I think the 85 is VA.
Yes.
The 75 is IPS.
No, only the 55.
55 is only one ADS Pro?
It. The only size that's ADS Pro is 55.
I thought it was 55 and 75.
That was probably the year before that. Yeah, I know, it's so much confusion.
They're still great though, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll be VA across the board on the U75, except for 55. I think that's actually ADS Pro.
It's a great TV.
And so pricing. The 2026 TVs may be incrementally better, but you're paying a premium. If you get the 85-inch at a full discount, go for it. I don't think you're going to benefit that much from that slight bump, honestly, because the improvements just get a little bit better, but then how much are you paying for that? So
yeah, I mean, but you know what, Fomo, do you think it's a little hard though? I think value-wise, this is what's going to be hard for TCL and Hisense both. last year's TVs are so vastly different from this year. Even last year with TCL, it was hard for us to recommend the QM7 the year before. Hisense changes the chassis every year. The U8Q
and audio, they upgrade
and
the
audio,
audio.
yeah. I mean, like the U8Q looks nothing like the U8A. That's the heaviest TV in my studio until Panasonic brought that TV. So it's very hard for me to say before I see it. Get that. If value's your case, don't even hesitate because you're not going to buy these. And FOMO, do you think that how's the price you think going to be on the 7 and 8 if they're going to be RGB? They're going to be competitive, or are they going to be?
The 8 and 9 will be RGB. The 7 won't be. So
for Hisense.
For Hisense. So 2026 RGB Mini LED is limited to the 8 and 9.
No new 6.
And 7 would just be a slightly better. And that's why I was saying it won't be RGB.
Okay. If you were talking about this, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't like that though.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? That 7 is going to be the U8 last year because they're putting the best.
Yeah.
So you're still getting the trickle down, but the thing is, the U7 beat the U8 last year, in my opinion. So
yeah, but the problem is if you're now going to have a U7, new U7 go against the SQD 7 from TCL.
No, they're going to make the U9 go against the SQD because I think the U9 will be priced just below the SQD.
Okay.
So the U9 will still be
So the numbers won't match, but they'll be okay. Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah. All right, and let's see. Good question from Ubu7. What happened to the Hisense barcode demo from a couple years ago about projectors with light steering? Yes, I was excited about that as well. We'll see what happens. So we are not allowed into the actual showroom yet until tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, and I will be showing off Hisense stuff. So I'll let you know if it's still a thing, hopefully. But if you guys looked at the most recent launch, Hisense launched its first long throw projector. It looks pretty amazing. I hope I might get a sample to demo and review, but we'll see. That one looks pretty good. It looks really bright. Was it 6,000 ANSI lumens, something insane like that? So if you only need 120 inch to 200, or rather, the 200 inches is what it's going to do well, right? Is if you're that far away, you need the extra lumens on a long throw. So, but I'm kind of excited about that. Otherwise, the Hisense barcode looked like a very promising partnership if it continues. Okay.
And SQD is only going to be on TCL.
Yes. So will Hisense have SQD? Right now, SQD Mini LED, this is TCL's technology that they're labeling it. Now, I haven't heard this moniker on any of the Hisense TVs yet, but if it hits 10,000 nits, maybe that's what it is. But I haven't heard that. But so right now, you can be safe to say it's a X11L unique technology. All right, let's move on to Sony, which is not going to be too long.
And Phoenix, for S90F versus G5, FOMO and I have dozens of comparisons of those two.
And then we'll wrap up all your questions before we move on as well. So any questions you have about Hisense, LG, Samsung, TCL, we're going to hit that. So Sony, and might as well throw in Panasonic. Sony and Panasonic, they're still selling TVs, just not launching it at CES. So all I can tell you is here are the leaks from Sony. Sony leaks Bravia 9 Mark II will be RGB LED, and Bravia 7 Mark II will be a more affordable RGB LED. And we don't know if the Bravia 7 Mark II will be sharing the same technology as the Bravia 9 Mark II. It's also possible that being affordable, it could be using technology from other third parties, whereas the Bravia 9 Mark II, if that's what it ends up being called, it's homegrown.
The one we saw in Japan.
This is their flagship. It will be the most integrated processor between RGB layer and the processing and the LCD layer. I mean, it'll be the most integrated because it's all designed in-house. Yes, they will source third-party LCD and polarizer here and there, but the actual backlight that is the RGB LED layer, Sony designed it themselves. So I'm very excited to see if they do better with all of the complaints that LG Display has about RGB Mini LED being really a red herring. It's the same LCD TV with all the flaws. Can Sony rise above that and beat Micro RGB from Samsung? And I suspect they will beat basic RGB Mini LED because there's a premium here, and we don't know what the pricing is yet. I suspect the pricing will be similar to Samsung's Micro RGB. I cannot imagine it to be that much cheaper. So, and then you guys are asking, wait, but that's LCD. What about OLED? I believe Sony will skip OLED this year in terms of the next generation elevation. You're probably going to get a Bravia 8 Mark II 77-inch size, but that's about it. Brian, what do you think? Sony, what's happening?
So for Sony, Foam and I talked about this before we came out here, and love Sony, love all the people that we know there. They got by. It was a tough year for them. And it was a tough year because the Bravia 9 really carried the day, and they relied on the A95L 77 to carry the day, and then the Bravia 8 Mark II, which was beaten up, which I didn't agree with. It's a great TV, but they really kind of let the Bravia 5 and the 7, it was this combined of 2 years. They can't really do that again. So the Bravia 7 can't go next year, the Bravia 9 can't go next year. The 5 will carry over, that's just one TV. The Bravia 8 Mark II will to some degree, but then there's no W OLED. So there's a gap there. I can't see them redoing the Bravia 8, even though that was a redesign. So they have to really knock it out of the park with 2 TVs, being these 2 RGB Mini LEDs. That's hard when they're ultra premium for a brand that's already being criticized as being too expensive. So it's very hard to go that way. So I think the pressure on them to have a wow year, because the Bravia 9 is going to be long in the tooth. In TV years, it's already ancient. A95L, same thing. They cannot be brought up this year. There's no crutch of that's your go-to. It's just too old at this point. So you're going to have to. They're out the gate last with the most pressure on them. So I think they need to do something big. I just don't know how you do that and then cover the size differences from the different other manufacturers. It's going to be hard.
I think they're definitely going to hit the halo market, the flagship. So the Bravia 9 Mark II is going to be at 98-inch size. I think it's 75, 85, 98. That's what I'm hearing.
85 will be like the sweet spot.
So 85 will be the sweet, because if you're going to pay that much anyway, you got a few thousand available. Go with 85, obviously. But I think maybe it's about the little things. So this is why I put up Kevon Cleve 79's comment. FOMO, are we finally going to get 4 times HDMI 2.1 ports? We're talking about the high bandwidth 48 gigabit.
I think you will.
For gaming. And I think you will, mostly because this limitation is due not to Sony, but rather the SoC they're using from MediaTek.
It's not them. It's never been them.
MediaTek only offered 2, and unless they bought 2 MediaTeks and spent money
and pass it on, where LG and Samsung have their own. So I think you'll have it inadvertently. Now, I saw another comment. Are you going to see 165 hertz? I don't think they care to do that. I don't think they want to do that. They know that trying to placate or please that group, you're not going to buy more TVs because of it. And it's not their strength. So I can't see them spending money on it or doing more with it. Now, the reason we didn't talk more Micro RGB, my friend, they didn't show us anything.
I could give you the bare basics. 4,000 nits, peak brightness. That's about it. It goes up to 98 inches. It comes down to 65 inches. You got 65 to 98, 4,000. Oh, and it has HDR10 Plus Advanced. It will be capable of that. It may not be there at launch, but they'll have it added before the end of the year. And support has already been announced by Prime Video, Hulu, maybe Disney. So you're going to have more announcements as the year goes by, obviously. But whether that content will be available in 2026, we don't know. That's up to them to remaster their stream to support HDR10 Plus Advanced. But the most exciting thing about RGB,
just go right to that one. Yep, goodbye.
The most exciting thing about RGB or Micro RGB is this. Micro RGB has the brightness of 4,000 nits, which is what Sony has always wanted for TVs because it matches their grading monitor that Hollywood has been using for HDR recently, for HDR grading up to 4,000 nits. So you have that. So when you combine HDR10 Plus Advanced with that, they have the capability, if you buy this TV in 2026, a few years from now, you can start kind of mixing, brightening your dim HDR content to something that's pretty fancy, right? So yeah.
Again, until we start seeing real content on it, it's hard for us to expand more than that.
Yeah.
You know, even at Samsung.
And it's all in theory too. We don't want to hype up something that we haven't
but
seen.
even at Samsung, we saw demo material on it, and then we saw demo material here. So it's kind of hard to tell you that if it's the same, let's say the same demo material.
Yeah. And this is a great question. Brian FOMO, you think I'm okay with the S95F for the PS6 and next Xbox? I think that's exactly what you want to comment on.
The question is, are you going to see a PS6 for
I think 2028 is the rumor, but it could be 2029 the way things are going. But, well, okay, let's talk about as a gaming TV, right? How's the S95F? I think it's a great gaming TV. I think it's overbuilt for PS6 or Xbox.
Yeah, they're all great for consoles, but yeah, you'd be more than happy.
Because I honestly don't think that the Sony, or rather, the PS6 can support, I mean, at best it'll support 120, and the S95F can do 120 easily. And
I don't think that, as we've said, I think that the G6 and the S95H are going to be pretty incremental. So it's very hard that you're not going to actually, if it was jumping from, even if it went from 165 to something else, you're not going to see that on console anyway.
Mm-hmm. All right, quick. Okay, and we're doing wrap-up questions. So if we didn't address any questions you had about any of the brands, TCL, Samsung, LG, Hisense, Sony, or Panasonic, Brian.
Well, quick, let's finish. I think we're going to finish up with Sony, is that Sony's biggest competitor was always Samsung. But now with both TCL and Hisense not only being fast and aggressive, they're going first. They always hung back before. So now the pressure is really on Sony from those two. And I think that's going to be, 23-bit to 26-bit. A lot of that stuff, I think you're going to have to, it's going to force Sony to move a little quicker. Releasing TVs at the end of the year is hard because people really do want to buy. So when you have like a TCL and a Hisense showing me stuff now, the other TVs come out in the spring, and then your Bravia 5 comes out at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Even if you carry it over, it's already at a disadvantage. Even though it was a great TV, I think Sony has to change that to some degree.
Yeah.
Well, especially this year, they should come out strong and go after it. Otherwise, the big problem for them, FOMO, is they're going to just be too expensive. Even if they are better, it's not going to make sense.
I think that's why they released the Bravia 5, is that's the affordable.
The problem is the Bravia 5 was already more expensive than the higher-end TCL and Hisense at that point in the year. If it came out at the same time as the QM9K or QM8K, it would have been, it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was already too expensive. And by the time they dropped all their prices, QM6K, for instance, was like free. It's like,
well, and then you have Sony loyalists. They've always had a Sony.
Yeah, we do in 2 hours, nothing, baby.
And they're, thanks for hanging out with us for 2 hours, by the way. Apparently,
hope you're not complaining, Don.
Jensen Huang at NVIDIA has his keynote, and you guys don't want to hear about AI. I think you guys are all sick of that.
What's his keynote going to say? We're not bringing any new. He doesn't care about GPU at all.
Panasonic, Brian, take it away. You are so Brian and I are close to the people at Panasonic, but Brian had the most recent conversation with the team at Panasonic.
Yeah. So Panasonic is not here. They're here, but not with. Oh, you want us to finish so we can eat? Don? I'm sorry, we haven't eaten either, bro. We're right here. You see me eating? So Panasonic, I think, needs to, or I should say, okay, the Z95B was my favorite overall premium TV of last year. Terry, trust me, 2 hours is not a record. So it was my favorite TV of last year. I did do a recent video of that versus the Z8BA, which dropped later in the year, which didn't make any noise. I think the challenge they're having is that they're being able to have TVs available for purchase is hard. Even if I recommend them, people can't go and get them. The Fire TV, the design, a lot of that is very niche, and I think that's where they're struggling. I've been assured, though, they're not leaving. There will be TVs in the spring. Maybe they have a separate event, which I think for Sony is okay because Sony's in the ether. Mm-hmm. Panasonic, I think because they've already left, you guys don't have faith that they're going to stay. And I can't dissuade you from that. I've been assured there'll be more TVs in the spring. I do text some people from the Osaka team. I love their TVs, but it's going to be a wait and see. So I can say they're going to have them, but I don't have any if they're going to go with a G6 panel.
You know what? I think we used to say that Panasonic, if they didn't go with QD OLED, they're dead. I'm going to pull that back.
Thank God they didn't go QD OLED. They would be dead in the war. Well,
I think they need to go.
QD OLED.
I think if they do anything, they need to go with affordable 83-inch.
Yes.
Four stack, like maybe use last year's four stack. You don't need to go this year. Whatever it is, affordable 83-inch four stack. Compete with a C6 with a series of your own, because the C6 83-inch is going to be the value leader for performance gamers and anyone who's interested in HDR.
And look, they did better with the G5 four stack than LG did. Their processing is excellent. I think FOMO, they're going to have to abandon a little bit of their design. They can't go 83. The TV will be 300 pounds.
And this may be an unpopular opinion. I think they need to sell a lighter TV. They literally put the best audio system they could design inside a TV. And as you all know, audio requires magnets and whatnot, right? Unless you're using that
airflow
acoustic
system
glass,
heavy,
airflow overheating, right? That special this and that. That TV ended up being easily 30 to 40% heavier than a competing TV at the same size.
Well, and the Z8BA at 77 inches, which is a great TV. That TV is the heaviest TV in my studio.
Oh my
it's
God.
77 inches.
Back. Yeah.
So I mean, I think people are. And look, I'll talk smack to the enthusiasts out there that are in the forums that talk about processing. Nobody bought them.
So that's
so
actually
go buy them. I mean, I don't know why.
Let's give Panasonic a little love here. There are three things that people complain the most about the Panasonic. One, the Fire TV operating system, and I get that. Yeah. Two is the chin, where you got the speaker sticking out because they wanted the best speaker, and people kept saying, well, if I wanted better speakers, I'd buy a soundbar. And
until they ask about the audio. Then it's like, well, how's the audio, though?
Well, yeah, I know,
it's
right?
crap. Oh, no, but I have speakers. I don't want the speakers.
And third, it's only available at Amazon. Right? It's limited release.
Which they thought was going to be an advantage, and it was a disadvantage because Amazon was really hit or miss. Even as I did my Z8BA video, it wasn't available. I'm like, come on. And they were kind of, some of them were at Costco, but not. So the distribution was a real problem. But go ahead.
To address each of those points, Fire TV, Google TV, WebOS, Tizen, it doesn't matter. They all have their detractors, right?
Yeah,
There's someone that, and when I went to a workshop where we graded TV operating systems, we ranked them, Fire TV, Google TV, all the big ones, right? Sony, Samsung. And without telling you guys who the host is, number 2 was Fire TV. And this was among people like me. We got general consumers, housewives and professionals who are not into TVs. And then you had reviewers like myself and Brandon were there. And then you had the actual designers of these operating systems that have moved on with their life, and they were brought back to kind of revisit these. So this is their job, is to design things to make it easy. And number 1 consistently among our group was Google TV. Number 2 is Fire, and then everything else. Now I ranked Roku number 1.
I thought Tizen did well in that, no?
Tizen was dead. WebOS was dead last. Tizen was second to last. And much to many people's surprise, right? Yeah, to no one's surprise, maybe. I argued why I liked Roku and Tizen, but what most of the judges were looking at is how easy is it to just navigate and see what's available.
Yeah.
Because they give us everything. They give us headphones, how quickly can you connect the headphones, how quickly can you connect your phone, how about screen mirroring, all of that. We went through all of that. How easy was it to find this feature, that feature? Hey, let's plug in Apple TV, does it work? Okay. But by the end, we took a matrix, we looked at all the strengths. Those who were unsophisticated, they liked Google TV and Fire TV the most. Yeah. And so
back out, there it is, there's the home button.
We're in an echo chamber where among enthusiasts, I've seen better, right? But Fire TV, I think as a popular choice, it was the right choice. So I'll give them that.
Yeah.
It could have been Google TV, but it was Fire, and that's fair. Then you have the audio, and this is one where...
Well, real quick, back to the Fire TV. I think the problem with the Fire TV and the Roku thing is I think it made people think that a very elite TV company now went cheap. When they basically said the reason they went with Fire TV is to offload the cost of having an operating system, which was really always Panasonic's weakness, not processing, but their own if you remember, their operating system, their plasmas were slow. So they thought that they would get better distribution and have an OS. And it went the other way because I think, remember the Pioneer TVs we had at Best Buy? I think some people were afraid. I was afraid that the Panasonic would be gone and it would be a cheap Fire TV version. Like the Toshibas had that. Instead, they're like, no, we're still here. Panasonic's still here. And people really, as soon as they saw Amazon Fire, they thought it was cheap.
Yeah.
And same with Roku, it's true.
I know, right?
It was true. They were more purple. I'm like, what the hell? But it backfired.
I have to tell you, the Roku is definitely for senior citizens. They
it's got the rubber. You can chew on it if you want.
My parents And in-laws love the Roku.
Look at the button on the side. Like,
and it's so easy for me to tell them what to do.
the problem with the Roku is I couldn't find the freaking TV settings. I'm like, where the hell is it?
Because you don't
get my credit card to get there.
You don't change settings on a Roku TV.
Oh, yeah, it's
That's
true.
his problem.
It's like purple.
Those who
blank.
buy Roku, you set it and you forget it.
Get the Decepticon remote. Go ahead.
Let's do some super chats real quick before we wrap it up. Hey, Tater Tots, thank you. At Hisense, can you see if the UR9 is ADS Pro or VA? I will, and I'll tell you that it's very hard to find out from them ever since last year.
I don't think it's going to be there.
The reason I know is I forgot which publication. This publication is out of Asia somewhere, and they had to hunt down Hisense engineers to finally reveal the 55-inch is ADS Pro and everything else is like VA, whatever. So I'll try, but I think they're no longer pushing ADS Pro versus VA anymore. But we'll see. I'll ask at CES, and if they have the information, I'll post it and share it with you guys. Moving on, Paul Shelton, super chat, but no question. So ask.
What's up, Paul? We know Paul.
Paul, ask your question, and if we see the question, we will answer it.
What's up, Mad Dog?
Mad Dog,
Great
thank you for
question,
the
by the
super
way.
chat. Okay, let's hit this one. G6 OLED 48-inch. Which panel will it use? USA availability. Tech Radar says the regular C6 42 to 65 will use the same kind of panel as last year's G5. Is this true? Okay, so a lot of questions.
Yeah, if it's a small G5 that's under 55,
So
that's wrong.
the C6, let's start with the C6. First of all, it has to say hyper radiant. Hyper radiant means the 4-stack primary RGB.
Yeah.
And I've been told that the C6 only has two sizes,
77, 83.
7783
That's not
using the G6.
Yeah.
So we're done there. Now, 48-inch G6, I don't think has hyper radiant.
The 48 G5 didn't have. It was still just a. Yeah.
Wait, was there a 48 G5?
It was supposed to be. I never saw it, but it was never going to be a RGB stack. They just don't. They don't see and they're not wrong. The pixel pitch, the size of it, the pixel density, it wouldn't benefit. It would just make it more expensive. Those TVs are bright anyway, but.
Here's the best part of the question. If you have a 48-inch C6 against a G6, neither of them using hyper radiant. What's the difference? I'll tell you, it'll be just like the old days, C2 versus G2. I would say minor differences.
Minor differences. I mean, the one thing I will say I don't love that LG does is they do the pixel booster with processing, meaning they will make one not as bright as the other. So they may close the faucet a little bit. The main difference is going to be the design, and I mean the C6 has the better design. It has a stand. I think the small ones have stands, but if you want to see the real benefit of what the G series provides, I recommend going larger.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then you're just paying extra money for that design.
This is a wonderful question.
What's up, Travis?
Travis,
what's up?
Travis Sylvania, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. I have an LG G265, which looks great to me still, using it in a bedroom. Any need to upgrade this year? No direct sunlight in room, watch TV, some gaming. Okay, so let me give you some context about the G2. So the G2 came right before the MLA was introduced in the G3.
It was Evo, the Evo panel first year.
Just to give you an idea, the G2 is Dwayne Davis's favorite TV for SDR, and just for regular watching. He would choose that over the G3 and the G4 and the G5. And so you have an amazing TV for the bedroom. Why? Because in the bedroom, you really don't need the extra HDR punch. OLED naturally gives you that
There's a joke
pop,
somewhere, somewhere in there.
So,
you don't need that in the bedroom, baby. You busy in there.
maybe you don't want to be distracted, right?
This video is sponsored by Viagra.
Rolaids.
You don't need that in the bedroom, Travis. You know you busy, baby. Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
The G2,
Sorry.
just like the
Edit that one out.
A95K, so these are my bedroom flagships. G2, A95K, just any TV, any B series, right?
Bungalow in the house. What's up, bungalow?
Those are great TVs because you're not pushing the brightness. I still have the A95K, and it's in my bedroom, and
In the bedroom, baby.
and I don't need the pop.
And if you're curious, but you know, Travis too, though. I mean, the fact is, the G2 was, I think, the first Evo panel. They were really hit and miss with that pink tint initially. right? So if you had a nice one that's clean, but there are going to be big jumps in brightness if you go with a G4 or G5. But if you don't think you need it, I wouldn't put it in the bedroom. I mean,
but Nigel, it's working for him. When I tell my better half that the new LG is hyper radiant, she will definitely
she'll think it's a freaking vacuum cleaner. Bungalow, what's up?
Hey guys, and I know Shelton, Mr. Shelton has a question here somewhere, but I'll have to find it. Okay, and we'll just ask us.
Bungalow and put Bungalow up there. I haven't seen him in a minute. Love Bungalow.
Okay, Bungalow. Caleb and Vincent like kids in a candy store at CES Las Vegas. Yes.
Well, no, I will tell you this. They're not like kids in a. I will tell you this. Both Vincent and Caleb, we know them both. Those guys are working hard. They're working with 2 or 3 cameramen and teams. And even though they're getting their content out, I would not want to do what they do. Both those guys are tired. They're working hard.
Okay, let me tell you the differences, right? They are dedicated, and I will throw you in there, my friend. You're dedicated. So they
I'm going to have a tomahawk after
Caleb's this. Caleb's like, FOMO, are you ready to drop your video? He's asking about timing, embargo.
Bring his camera.
And I was like, Caleb, my friend, I am so lazy. I'm just going to do a live stream.
So I'm not even here.
I got no pictures for you. Yeah. All I got is what's in my head from what I've picked up, my conclusions, because I think for me, this is my channel, is this discussion, sharing with you my impressions, and this man is out there running like a madman, shooting like, dude, you are working so much harder than I am.
FOMO's so right, because I think FOMO, real quick about us, FOMO likes, he knows we're going to have the TVs at some point. I think you find it redundant. Right?
We are
if you're curious, if you're RGB curious. But I think FOMO knows that it ends up being redundant. If we shoot, and I've learned this even this year, you shoot 30 minutes of a TV, that's all demo material, and then you're going to get it home in a month. Now you're shooting the TV this many times. And we can't see it anyway, so we're really only speculating. I love to show the TVs. But I mean, these guys, Vincent and Caleb, I mean, every time I saw Vincent outside of LG, he's editing the minute he's done seeing it, and his team is with him. It's a lot of work, man. I think we're working hard, but FOMO and I both.
No, I am not working. No. Tomorrow I will be working hard.
FOMO
but not
today to go to Innovations.
I
go to get my camera, and I'm like, he doesn't even have his freaking camera.
Right. I didn't bring my camera.
He didn't bring his badge. He didn't bring his glasses. He had no shoes on.
I got to Samsung. I'm like, I need help. I go, why? I forgot my badge. They won't let me in. Should I just go home? They go, no.
FOMO's like, is this the bathroom? This looks different. What's up, Tony? Tony, give me some love.
Like a homeless guy walking off the street.
I go to get my camera because I'm going to edit. I'm like, the hell is his camera doing here? He just showed up in his hands pockets. Hi. Did you guys want to capture anything? No, thanks.
No. The highlight.
Photographic memory.
That's it.
He didn't bring anything. At least his phone was sitting over here.
No, wait. I have to throw this in there. Busy eating chicken.
What chicken?
Yeah, by the time I got there, I had to fight young Korean ladies to get one chicken on a toothpick.
So funny thing last night, right? We'll get back to your question. This is what I love. So me and FOMO, we're always like, where are we going to eat? Are we both going
No, wait, I have to set this up. Brandon texts us all. Guys, I heard they have amazing Korean fried chicken.
From Samsung.
Straight from Korea. Fried chicken.
No, bancha. We doing the same.
This is native Korean chicken.
And they were going to put it in the refrigerators. They made me see.
So you're not like, yes.
So everything he says to me is, what are our dinner plans for tonight, right? So like right now, we'll do this, that. So we go to all these things, no food. So we're sitting there and he goes, me and this guy are walking like in a casino. Everything is miles in the building.
It was no food that I can eat. They got all this dessert tray, and so I'm eating.
He's eating my arm.
He's like, what are you eating? I'm like, I'm eating keto collagen chips. He goes, aren't those pork rinds? Yes. Otherwise known as keto collagen chips. So we go from there.
So now it's probably like 10:30. It's me, you, Brandon, Jen, Chana, Techno Dad,
rushing to Samsung to get the chicken.
No chicken.
Well, hey, first of all, their happy hour starts at 6. We get there at 6:15. I'm thinking, all right, we're early.
We did TCL first, which was I was just drinking.
Yeah.
At that point, it was funny. I'm not drinking now. I mean, it's the middle of the day.
So we get there at 6:15, 15 minutes after it starts. I get there, and then the wave comes out. I go, hey, how was is there still chicken? He goes, 5 minutes and it was gone.
Yeah, it was like 3,000. It was a couple thousand people there.
So it was like, we make our way there, and then there are people milling about the chicken station, right? And it's empty, and like, no, there's going to be more
when
coming.
When I came back, it was like,
there's going to be more chicken. So there's all these people milling about, right? Just various people. The minute the chicken came in, so what happened was, so the chicken's being carried out from the door towards the party area or whatever.
Person got grabbed.
Now, it's a parade of young Korean girls behind the chicken. When they bring the chicken in, they push everyone else that was there. The minute it was open, little hands,
it was like
high heels.
like Gremlins after midnight. When Gremlins when the bones were in the air.
So there's like 600 of us, maybe 1,000
like
at the
1,000
Samsung.
people there easily.
1,000.
Man, it was crazy.
And there's maybe 50, 60 pieces of chicken. And the guy's yelling, one per person. And you got these ladies with two toothpicks picking out.
It wasn't like one rotisserie chicken.
And it was like the ultimate victory. It's like a Black Friday sale or something. She's running out screaming in Korean, right? I'm like, I gotta get my chicken if it's that good. So I run in there. I get my little skinny little arm in there. I get my toothpick, right? I get jostled. I'm bruised. I come out with the chicken. Worst chicken I ever had. It was soft. It was soggy. It was covered. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I knew right away.
They forgot to cook that one.
You know what happened? They were so scared about the backlash on.
Oh, they ran out to freaking.
They ran out to the
Wendy's.
Whatever it was not the chicken I was promised.
You see his face. So we're all standing there. He's like.
It was such a downer. So I had to fight through all these angry Korean women.
So now we leave. We're walking. China D's there. Brandon, his wife, Jen, and we're all looking at where to go. In the casino, you're walking, and they're like, "Oh, we have this great place." We go to this like Starbucks-looking place to eat. We ended up at an Italian restaurant at like 11 o'clock at night, and that was great. But tonight we're going to Peter Luger's right after this.
Okay, so now to my AI story. All right, so this is.
Oh, you never forget it.
Okay, so this is AI. So as you all know, CES right now is all AI all the time. So we went to LG. This is the best part.
Can I start the story? Can I start the story? Okay, all right. So first of all, he wasn't even invited to LG.
I'm on their blacklist.
He's on their blacklist. So every year I'm like, hey, can I bring a friend? And they're like, sure. So I don't put Stop the FOMO. I put his real name is not Stop the FOMO.
It's bro.
So I put Carl. So I put him in. They let him in.
Because the minute he puts FOMO, nope.
All of a sudden my invitation catches fire. My phone breaks. So anyway, we go in, and I end up meeting with some of the LG execs. He walks right by, gets right into the TV event part.
Oh, yeah, they scoop me up and send me into the TV tour, right?
I'm talking to
No. The irony is, they all say hi to me and shake my hand like I'm their best. FOMO! Look at you, FOMO. You never give me an invite. How you doing?
Right? So you just see his little head, and he's walking, and he goes in. Now I'm talking to some of the higher ups at LG trying to get some access to their TVs. Yeah, I talk to them. Then they send me in, and this beautiful young woman gets me. Are you ready for your
private tour?
So then FOMO pops back out. He goes, "Oh, I'll go to this tour too."
Right, okay, so let me about the top of the pop out, right? So I'm here with this crowd.
He's already looking at TVs, by the way. Yeah, so he's already where he needs to be. I have the VIP status.
Yes, he does. And I'm here with like 10 media members.
This is me.
I'm like, I want VIP.
I got VIP,
baby.
And
I'm with that guy. So I wave off to my, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
So I join him. I'm like, oh yeah.
Private tour, baby. Not only a private tour, it's me, him, this young woman, and then everybody behind.
And they're all looking at us with envy. They go, oh, they got the private tour.
I got the VIP, baby.
So this lady takes us to a monitor, X-ray monitor, right? It's for medical use, high resolution. So she's building up here.
It's like the grayscale.
Isn't this amazing? This grayscale is the highest OLED grayscale. I'm like, all right. And then she moves us along the monitor, and it gets bigger. This is the best gaming.
No. It was a bunch of hospital. It was a bunch of hospital monitors. And I was like, well, if I'm ever in the ICU, I'm glad LG's on the case. Then it was like a creator monitor.
Yes.
So then FOMO right away, knowing that we have a little bit of time and we should just move on to the TV portion, which didn't exist, He starts asking
Oh,
questions. Does this thing swivel? Is this thing got this? I'm like, you don't care. Why are you messing with these people?
I want to be long. She's all so we make our way. This is the highlight for me.
Oh
this is when
the whole CES is his highlight.
This is my highlight. I think this is when I broke LG, and I may never be invited again.
Oh my God.
So they take us to, and our most exciting product is we've integrated AI into the LG Gram laptops. So you know how our LG Gram laptops are not just light, they're powerful. Well, guess what, guys? We've integrated offline AI onto your laptop.
So pause.
And I'm excited.
So now remember, we're not there for this. I know there's TVs somewhere. I saw Vincent. He waves. He goes in. So he's next to me. He's just now we're not the same size. He's bouncing around all happy, and I already told him stop asking questions. We get to the AI part of it, and she goes, "What's amazing about these gram?" And he goes, "Are they a gram?" And she goes, "Actually, good question. They're 2 grams." So I'm like, "Stop!" And then she goes, "Well, it's AI on board, and we're offline." So she shows us we're offline. And she goes, "So if you have any questions, the AI will take care of it." He goes, "Well, let me ask it a question." I'm like, "No, I only have an hour to film these TVs." So he goes over, starts typing. Now go.
All right, so
I'm just dying to get out of there, guys. I got the LG G6 waving at me. Vincent's already doing his video. This guy wants to go, I'll ask it. When's my birthday?
So no, I'm all like, she was like, "It's offline. Anything that's on the computer, AI will give you the answer."
Yeah, but you understand. It's just me and him.
There's
all LG team is behind us. Anytime he asks a question which he doesn't care about in another language, they're like, then they have to go call somebody, and I'm like, he doesn't care.
The best part is this is LG Korea team, so they're taking this very seriously.
First of all, and now they don't even know. Here's the funny part: they don't even know who we are.
Right, because this is our IT Korea team.
IT team.
So the IT team is watching me closely.
If I was a doctor, they would have had it, but they're like, "Who's this guy?"
They're like, I'm like, "Can I use the AI?" Like, "Yes, please. It's here for you to demo." I'm like, "Okay, so let me get this straight."
He's like this.
What information do you have here? She's like, "All these PDFs," and I look at the PDFs. "Oh, this is all your 2026 product line." He goes, "Yes."
I could have killed him.
You can search everything that's launching in 2026.
Okay.
Yes, right. So I go, "Okay, I'll give you a softball question. I'm a creator. I only have one product to show off for CES 2026 based on consumer interest. Which is the one product I should talk about?"
So think about this. That is his softball question.
Okay, that's a softball, right? And so it's searching, right? And then it says, "You need to talk about the Segway." Like, isn't that like 2,000?
So I thought it meant you need to segue to something else. It meant the actual Segway.
The Segway, like, that's a 20-year-old product.
And then it literally, so then she comes over, she's like, "Oh, that's funny." Then all of a sudden, someone else takes a picture of it, and now everyone's calling.
No, we're not done yet. No, we're not done yet. I'm like,
first of all, can you imagine? My big ass is behind him, ready to kill him. I just want to film the TVs, and he's so little.
I'm like, you know what? So I'm telling the guy, she's like, "Oh, that's funny. Oh, you know what? Maybe my prompt was a bit too hard."
Bring his camera.
So I'll change my prompt. So I said, "Everything inside your hard drive about 2026 product lineup from LG. Give me the one that will get the most views on YouTube." And so it searches, right? And then he's like, "What the hell?" 60 seconds pass. I asked the lady, "I think it's broken." And she's all like, so she calls them, in Korean, she calls. Yeah. So 3 people come in, the engineers are looking, and then the guy's like, "I am sorry. We are done here. We are done here."
No. Before that, it was twice where they said, "Now we're only in a little corner." It's not like we went down a hallway. So it was like, "You need to check back. You need to check back." And then we get to the last one. He goes, "We're done now."
And as I walk up, he's taking pictures, texting, calling everyone.
Somebody.
I'm like, "Wait, this is a demo."
Why the black limo didn't come by and knock us over the head and put us in the truck? So here's the funny thing. It wasn't like we were doing a TV demo where it says, "Hey, Gemini, I want to see the shirt on that character." This guy's asking it for life advice. Where should I send my kid to college?
And then we move on to the gaming monitor. So we get to gaming.
He's even worse. He doesn't even care about gaming.
This is amazing gaming monitor. It's like 42 inches or 48 inches. And then I'm like, wow. And then she goes, and then we have this smaller monitor. And so I go, oh, is that for poor people? And then she looked at me. She didn't know what to say.
So there's clearly a language barrier.
And so the woman behind her, nods.
No, when he goes. So this one's for poor people. She looks and goes. And then she started another language to them to check.
And the guy nods. They nod. He goes, yes. I'm like, see, Brian?
So all I do is go like this. I'm like, that's lovely. Can we do this one? And this poor girl, it's like her first run through. And he's like,
oh, yeah, we are literally her first. She had to break her bones with us, right?
Yeah, she's going to be the new Daniel Day-Lewis of LG.
So, no, this is the best part. No, this is the best part. So after we're done, and then he sees the TV, right? She goes, you're done. We're done here. Any questions
in that? So we're in this little corner. This room had to be the size of this freaking hotel room. So it's like spin the bottle. They spin us around, and she goes, "Now, is there any questions?" I go, "Yeah, where's the TV?" She goes, "Huh, that is a different tour. You have to book for that tour." I was like, "I gotta book for it."
We're done here.
I got like 4 people into LG, and now I'm standing in the lobby with these metal waters. Where'd your metal water go?
And I'm like, wait a minute. I left the TV tour for this private, for
so
this?
Get into that one.
I had the right tour the whole time.
And then we're literally running out of time.
So I run over there, and he's all like, we're done here. Like, what? I missed the TV tour too.
He goes, yeah, the TV tour was closed. So then I go to Chris and David Park, these guys. I'm like, look, I had the access. I got kicked out. They're like, oh, go in there. Then they go in there and shoot whatever you want.
Like, okay, your session's over. Next. It's over.
But dude, then he tells me at the end, go in there and shoot whatever you want. I'm like, where was that when I got here? So now you should have seen me. I am not a small guy. I'm like shooting with an action camera. I'm like this. I'm catching. It came out good, actually. And then they're like, oh, we're sorry. We're wrapping this up. I'm like, give me 60 seconds. That's why I came here.
And so
tomorrow when you see my apology video to LG, or you see them not covered at all this year, because I lost my access because of this guy. Let me ask this softball question, like, what's my favorite color? No. How can I get my views up on YouTube?
The best part was, well, I have to say, LG was such a good sport.
They kicked us out.
David gave us a rush tour. He
was good too.
What we needed was the specs, right? The specs, the differences. In 5 minutes, he gave us what a 30-minute tour was.
Yeah, but here's the frustration for me as a creator with my partner. He does all that crap. He's laughing. His hands are in his pockets. I got the bag with metal waters in it. And I go to film. And he's just walking around because he's asking them the questions. He's like, film anything.
We haven't said this yet. So the reason it's like, why is this backpack so heavy? So I opened the backpack. I was stuffing.
Get the water. Show him this water.
I was stuffing water bottles,
polymetal alloy waters. Yeah, and these damn things are
stuffing them in his backpack.
I had to carry that crap to Samsung.
And then something, like,
I feel like I was the guys on Everest.
And he was like, I'm out of shape.
My back hurt. And that's when I went to Samsung and I was disappointed. I'm like, why am I so tired? I'm carrying this guy's nitrous oxide around. So then we get to the TV portion, my bread and butter. I got the cameras out. The whole LG team, what they do is they restart the tours. None of them were going to talk to me because they were like, oh, I'm not on, man. I'm ready for the next tour. Now I'm shooting the G6, C6, W6, 3 QNEDs, an RGB. This guy doesn't even have his camera out. But I'm carrying his camera and his waters. And he's like, oh, we got a live stream tomorrow. This is his video.
Oh, every year. Madness, my friend.
We should just start the freaking live streams this way.
Well, and people wonder, FOMO, why are you on LG's blacklist? I find a way. So now Carl is no longer welcome on LG.
I'm going to get fake names. Now I'm going to go with my own name. And you're like, nah, man, sorry.
But we'll let Carl in.
Look at Satnist. When we got to the end of it, this beautiful, she's like, what did you think? I'm like, what? What do you mean? It's like spun me out. Goodbye.
No.
Have a wrap. And all the wrap was
No.
gone. I'm eating cheese.
No.
The turkey sandwiches were gone.
That's true. So it took us so long. By the time we came out, the food for our session, all that was left was the burrata tomato sandwich.
He goes,
I
don't eat bread, right? So Homo goes, there were all these sandwiches. There was turkey ones. He looks over, he points to the last one, and then I think like Chris took it. He's like, oh, sorry. Now I'm eating mozzarella.
He's picking the mozzarella.
I'm eating a cookie. Vincent's editing his whole video, and I'm over here talking about he goes, the grayscale on this hospital monitor. Perfect.
Oh, that was it.
I can see my vitals. I was like, oh, cool.
This guy, before we leave, she's all like, I would appreciate if you take a survey.
It's like, yeah, perfect.
What did you like about this tour? And he was just speechless.
I like that I was in the wrong. Well, she said the grayscale on this monitor, so you can read. I'm like, read what? That I'm dying? It's like, I'm not going to read this. I'm not a doctor.
And I'm wondering the whole time, how did they hoodwink him into the completely wrong tour?
But here's the point. Here's the funny thing. This is what really ties it together. So I had the VIP IT/TV tour. This morning I had the private TV tour. But he had to go to Samsung Innovation.
I told him to cancel.
He goes, cancel that. We're going to Samsung Innovation. So I said, can I move it? They said, no, because I'm bringing a Carl with me. I lost my slot. So now, I didn't go to Samsung Innovation. He didn't bring his camera to that. So thank God, my LG short is up right now. It came out great. But I'm like, I'm not Scorsese. I can't,
You're not Vincent Tuck.
Vincent got 9, Caleb got 9 guys with him. I'm filming with 2 cameras. This guy's talking smack. He's like, I like this. This is nice. You know what's funny? When him and I do this, you know what he does? He'll grab the remote. And we're at an event, and I'm trying to film. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, put the goddamn thing down. Last year you had the magic remote. I'm like, get that thing off the screen. I'm trying to film. Oh, I'm not filming anything. I'm doing a live stream of you tomorrow.
Oh, CES 2026.
Now, had that happened at Samsung, it would have been fine. There was nothing to film. But the reason why I was so tired at Samsung, I was carrying this guy's Metallica water in my backpack.
Oh yeah, that was the funny part.
He's like, I got 4 of them in here. I'm like, what?
So by the time we got back to the hotel, it's all like,
sweating like a hostage.
Why am I so tired?
Oh
he goes, what the hell's up?
I'm pulling out these. Give me that damn thing. I'm pulling out like 4 of them.
I'm all like, but we saved money.
I'm like, it's Sherpa. He's like walking around. It's fun. I like Samsung. I'm like carrying around.
Wait. Speaking of Sherpa, so I'm dressed like a Sherpa, but he's the one carrying the stuff.
It's supposed to be you're carrying the stuff, and I pay for it. Are you out?
No.
He's dressed like he's on the Himalayas.
So I have to show you. So here I am, dressed like a Sherpa, right? So I'm like this, with my Sherpa and everything, right? Walking around. And he's the one with all the heavy stuff.
I thought he was supposed to carry the gear.
I was kind of being incognito.
He's like, why are you so tired? I'm like, I don't know why I'm so tired. Because I'm bringing your waters in across the border.
Oh, man. So, every year we try to make CES fun for ourselves. And
dude, last year when I was sick, I was like, I'm dying over here. My face was it's red in this one, too.
So we'll never forget the missing chicken, or the bogus chicken from CES, LG's broken AI, and Brian thank you, my friend, carrying all my water bottles. But the best part is, I thought he knew I was like sticking water bottles in there. I'm like, hey.
Dude, so here's the best part.
It's like a pickup truck.
CES starts tomorrow. Here's the best part. I think I've been here for a month.
Yeah, he's so worn out.
I'm like, where are we going?
So we wake up this morning and whatever, and Brian's like really tired, just lying there.
We both went to the gym.
We went to the gym. Yeah. So
now I didn't have to do back because I had freaking metal waters on my backpack.
Okay. I think we have 1 or 2 more super chats, and we can close this out.
I love when they actually are TV questions now. Okay, let's go back to.
Hey, Ahmed.
I'm ahead. How are you?
Thank you for that super chat.
It's a real question.
A real question that we can answer.
Get the game face
Samsung's
on.
Micro RGB LED modules are smaller, yes, than a Pixel, and they can control them individually, or at least being used as self-emissive tech. So actually, they're technically, the way they do it, they're not designed to be controlled in that way. They're a bit rougher. So even though they appear to be micro LED, they're that size, but they don't have the same technology as a true micro LED. So it cannot be used as a self-emissive tech, but at best, it can be used as a backlighting tech, because if it was the self-emissive micro, it would be way more expensive. So this is like the cheaper version, so that's why. But yeah, really good question.
The fact that you go from how we talk to that is awesome. He's like, so anyway, well, let's get back to business.
Oh, and before we close, I have to tell you my most exciting product wasn't a TV product. You guys are the best. The story is great. Thank you for that super chat, Paul. So, as we were being guided at Samsung away from the TVs.
Oh, no, can I tell it?
Okay, go ahead.
So you can understand. I'm already disenchanted. I'm carrying this
he is so disappointed.
I'm carrying a transformer on my back. I filmed, and you want to talk about, I'll guys share this story. You weren't even here for this. So the Micro RGB at 130 whatever inches, it's massive, right? It's awesome looking. There's one on the wall, and there's a big dude in front of it who is, they kind of guard it, and they'll answer some questions. And I just started to lose my patience. This phone won't see me do this. I just start moving people around, like literally just guiding them out of my way. He goes, big man, I feel you, because I was eventually, dudes are walking. I'm like, you're in my shot. Oh, sorry. Because people just start backing in, and they'll stand, and I'm like, my man. He goes, big man's losing his patience. I'll just start throwing people around. That's at the end. Now I call him. He doesn't pick up. He doesn't have a camera. He's like, oh, I'm over by the refrigerators. I'm like, why? I go over, and he introduced me to the head of refrigerators. So that's a new channel we're starting.
I'm with the head of product of refrigerators. Because once again, AI, right? He's like, this is amazing. This camera is connected to Gemini. I'm like, what? You're kidding me. So here I am, all excited that the Samsung refrigerators for 2026, for the first time, the camera has Gemini. And so, because you guys don't know, right? I have a fitness channel, but more importantly, I do all the cooking.
Below, please like and subscribe.
I do all my cooking and whatever at home, right? So I cook for the whole family. So I'm really into this refrigerator that has the image and the AI, because imagine, you could do so much, right? Expiration dates, tracking, show the nutritional values. You can calculate how much protein you have left in your refrigerator, what kind of dishes you can make with a certain amount of protein. I mean, I'm like, yes, Gemini.
Fascinating.
So the product guy, I start peppering with questions. He's all like, we're holding Gemini back. We won't let it do all those things. I'm like, what? And so I'm going to convince them to give me an unleashed refrigerator with unleashed Gemini.
Coming soon.
So that I can have
I
fun.
will not be on those live streams.
So that will be probably a different channel, the AI refrigerator
FOMO
channel.
will need another partner for those. Will you imagine insult to injury? I'm already mad there's no TVs. I did the AI thing at LG, the IT department, and then this guy's talking to the appliance guy like, hey, how are you? Like, I'm ready to go.
I had to put up Seek's comment. Remember a few years ago, that guy that accidentally gave you a massive super chat? It was like $500, and you thought you were getting a fancy steak dinner at CES. So that was Scott Coakley.
So yeah, but the funny thing is when we did that, everyone's like, oh my God, that's amazing, thank you. And he's like, oh, you're welcome. Holy shit.
He added an extra zero.
It's supposed to be 50.
Right, 50 to 500.
He's like, can you help me get it back?
And so he's asking chat, can I reverse this? My wife will kill me.
I would kill myself. We're like, oh man, that's so generous of you. He's like, I was only kidding. It's supposed to be $5.
How do I get it back?
Yeah, he's like, I can't get it
back. I don't know how to help you,
The next
man.
live stream we're still talking about it. Man,
we've been talking about it for years.
Clearly. It's still being brought up.
Isn't KG with you guys at CES? No, he couldn't make it. So we love you, KG. We know you're at home and watching us probably.
Making more videos than we are.
Oh, definitely.
Sure.
Right.
He's seeing more than I am.
And I think, well, anything else you want to share? I think we kind of gave you the behind the scenes.
Your favorite,
maybe too much.
RGB curious, or while we're in a hotel together.
A little bit of that.
Bedroom TV, baby.
But okay, I think, how long have we been on? Oh, almost 3 hours. I think We'll cut it off before the 3-hour mark. And I know Jason Sims asked if we could add him to our reservation at Peter Luger's.
If you're buying.
And the only thing is this. It's so popular here during CES that to lock in my 2-person reservation with Brian, I had to post a credit card. They will not let me upgrade to 3 people. It's that popular. They're probably going to set us at a bar or something. So otherwise, you probably would have been welcome, Jason Sims.
Especially if you're paying, Jay. The tomahawks, we get 1 each, by the way. They're about 200 each.
Yep.
And the bacon, 2 orders of that. Some mashed potatoes.
Yep. And with that, my friends, we appreciate you all. We love CES. We love coming here because this is why we go, actually. We go because the fun, the laughter, and I know the brands are all watching, and I know they're all laughing.
Can I tell one more CES story? The difference between FOMO now and the first year I came. The first year I came, if you guys remember, FOMO had... You know when like in the old time where they would sell like cigarettes at stadiums?
The peanuts.
Yeah, the peanuts thing. He was walking around with a computer and live streaming while he was walking.
I was inspired by that DJ walking around DJing.
Yeah, so he was doing that to a couple of years ago. He was bringing all these cameras.
I had
a
carry his
bag last year.
Yep.
This year he's like, I don't even have my camera. It's just like he's just chilling.
All right.
Iceman, what's up, baby? How you doing, brother? Why aren't you out here? My man. How's the family?
And with that, hey, guys, click like and subscribe.
Look out for my videos, by the way.
And we love you all. We will be out of CES by Thursday, and then we're going to do a wrap-up or maybe a launch. April will probably be maybe the end of April, we're going to do a showcase video
to
have
for that.
side-by-side the G6, G5, all the latest and the C6, comparing them, see which one you should get compared to last year's G5, as well as maybe some Micro RGB action.
And we should also, I will tell you, with 100%, Sony will have an event as well. We'll be at that one, so you'll see, which is great, because actually, to be honest, for us, as much as I'm teasing Samsung, it's very hard when they're all here. Even Panasonic being here last year, we spent time with them. It's easy. For him right now, I have content I'm putting out. It would be hard if Sony was here too. So I'm glad they're doing separate events.
Yep.
More stuff for us to show you, and we love you guys. Please hit like. Please watch my videos. He's not gonna have any.
Like this video?
But definitely check out his fitness channel. It's, was it FOMO This?
FOMO This.
Yeah, check out his fitness channel.
And, one more super chat snuck in, so we'll answer this and then we're off. Thank you, Gary Scarlett 5147. 77-inch LG C5 or the 85-inch QM8K or the 98-inch QM7K?
Oh,
because
I already know your answer.
So if it was the 77 to the 85, I'd go with the 77. I don't think that jump is big enough, but going from a 77 to a 98 QM7K, it's all about immersion. If you're content watching, I'd go with that. Now, if you're gaming and you're a bit particular, the C5 is a great gaming TV. But if you're just doing console gaming, a bit of Nintendo, Switch, whatever, a QM7K is actually pretty good gaming among LCD TVs. So I'm fine, but the 98-inch immersion is amazing. Brian?
I love how you always go from gaming. You always goes, if you're a PC gamer, if you're a console gamer and you like Atari, if you like the Switch, not the Switch 2, but the Switch, get this one. That does 15 hertz. Here's my thing. I would say for the best image quality.
Oh, wait. No gaming for me.
Oh, he's not even joking. He's not even laughing back at us. Okay. I love OLED, but it's just the delta between 77 inches and even 85 is too much. For me, it's 83 versus 85. If you have the space, and you have the space for a larger TV, always go larger, because the image quality of an OLED can't be beat by anything, but it can't grow up. It can't get taller no matter how much you feed it. He is laughing at us. Cool. If you have the space, I would definitely go for the larger TV, the largest, which would be the QM7K.
Yeah. And most people watch normal content. Sports, it's great. Everything looks fine.
Hey, if you're RGB curious and you only watch normal content in the bedroom.
And with that, we're going to...
Love you guys. Take care.
3 hours, and it's great. We'll see you there, we'll see you at CES maybe one day, and maybe we might even see Jason Sims at Peter Luger stalking us. Till next time, my friends.
Love you guys.
Bye.